Heyo! Welcome, friends! Alright. We're going back to Ever Crisis tonight. I'm excited, but then again, I feel like I'm always excited when I stream anyway. But as you'll know, I really love Ever Crisis. I really love to have a chance to show you guys. And we're gonna start with one of the coolest things, probably the coolest thing, if you ask me, about this game. Namely, there's like little side quests, each centered on a character, that gives us, you know, like a flashback, where we get some more setting, some more backstory on them. Hey Yosie, thanks for being here. And so we've gone through 2 of them. There's only 4 that have been released up to now, and we're already halfway through, unfortunately. But we've still got Aerith and Barret to go, so that's what we'll start with. That won't take us the full 3 hours and a half. But after that, what we'll do is we'll go back to the story mode, and keep going through the story. So, where were we at story-wise? So we have reached the end of the Midgar section of the game. So this is essentially, you know, if you think of it in terms of Remake Rebirth, we have done everything that was in Remake in Ever Crisis version, and we're going to be moving on to Rebirth today. So like it was in the other 2 versions, we have our little ragtag band of heroes has fled from Shinra headquarters after freeing Aerith and, you know, collaterally also freeing Red 13. So they needed to get the fuck out of Midgar, and now they decide to go on the hunt for Sephiroth. Now, about those two, you know, side stories that we did, so we've gone through Clouds and Tifa's. Both were extremely interesting, and I think, I've said this a lot when we're playing through them, but I cannot emphasize enough how much I enjoy the stories, and I think the writing is absolutely beautiful. And you know, it's got this kind of like slice of life feeling. The Cloud one maybe less so, but the Tifa's one was very much that, where like, you know, the Final Fantasy story is this whole epic thing, you know, it's about survival of the planet and stuff, and fighting Shinra, the great evil corporation. There's a lot of drama, you know, a lot of fighting and stuff. And what we get with those are, you know, we see our beloved characters in a more, you know, human way, if that makes any sense. Like, we actually get to glimpse the people that they are, aside from, you know, people that fucking wear materia and fight evil. And I really, really like that. So in the Cloud one, what we saw was his very first steps when he reached Midgar, so just before the main story starts. And his you know, bad tripping hardcore, it looks a lot like Withdrawal. Everybody assumes he's a Mako junkie, and then Tifa finds him and sort of helps him out. And some of the things that are interesting is that he's extremely confused. You know, he's not sure who he is, he's not sure, you know, where he's at. He struggles a lot with just listening to Tifa and the other people talking to him, just, you know, like being in the moment. And his memories seem very hazy. There's this very weird little sequence about what they used to drink in Soldier, and he talks about it, you know, all natural-like, and then Tifa's like, oh, how do you mix that drink? And then he goes all weird, like, I can't tell you, it's confidential, which sounds like bullshit, because he just realized he didn't, you know, like, something's very strange about his memory and his mind, really. Like, he's a broken man when Tifa finds him. So that was Clouds. One little tidbit that is extremely interesting is that he tells us that 5 years ago in Nibelheim was his last mission as a soldier. Now, like we were talking about last time, we don't actually know what Cloud's been up to for the last 5 years. We have no idea where he was, what he was doing, and if you only look at Remake Rebirth and OG, we have no more information than that. It's unclear when exactly he left Shinra. And so with Ever Crisis, we get that little nugget of information, but that's highly relevant, right? That he actually left Shinra right after the Nibelheim, you know, drama, fiasco, fucking disaster. So that's one little nugget of information that's really nice. Also, we got to be in his head a bit, like we heard his thoughts, and it was extremely interesting to see how, on the outside, he was, you know, the cold, unfeeling robot we're used to, but on the inside, he actually felt quite warm about Tifa specifically, and, you know, I think, you know, it shows in his character that he's not actually emotionless, he's just really bad at showing it, or maybe he doesn't want to, but there it's really made, you know, it's made obvious, like, you cannot... We know for a fact that he's actually a softie inside, which again, you know, that's what I was talking about with the slice of life thing, just feeling for the characters as people rather than just, you know, those protagonists in this great epic story. And then Tifa's was even more so. It's also about her beginnings in Midgar, so the flashback takes place a long time before Cloud's one. And we see her working at a dumpling store. And what's really interesting is that we see that she actually struggled quite a bit early on in Midgar. She didn't know anybody, it was a big city. And she was quite lonely for, you know, a good while there. And then she met Jessie, Biggs, and Wedge, who were just clients at the dumpling store, but they sort of hit it off and became fast friends. Hey, Marm! Thank you for being here! How are you doing? And yeah, I don't know, that was beautiful to me. And also what I find really interesting is that I definitely can relate to that feeling of, you know, you're in a new city where you know nobody and sort of just, you know, it's hard to meet people sometimes, and you can get really lonely. And I feel like, you know, loneliness is worse when there are people around, if that makes any sense. Hello! And anyway, and you know, like Tifa's this really outgoing, cheery person. Like, you know, she sounds like a very social person, and I find it, I don't know, it's kind of unexpected, I'd say. I would not have expected that of, you know, seeing her struggle with just like getting a life essentially. And again, I thought that was beautifully written and very well executed in that section. And then there was the whole thing. It also showed us more about Avalanche and planetology, and I rumbled a lot about it last stream, but how, you know, they're not just eco-warriors, they actually have, there's a whole spiritual dimension to it. It is a religion, they are religious people, and their faith is a big part of why they do what they do. And that was really, you know, put forward and accentuated in that little Tifa story, which, again, I just thought was great. Alright, so let's do both Aerith and Barret now, and then we'll move on with the story. I don't know if you'll remember, I wasn't quite sure I wanted to do Barret immediately. The main reason for that being that it was actually released later. Like, if you played, you know, Ever Crisis content as it was released, you would have seen more of the VII Story before actually doing the Barret quest. But it's a flashback, and it's just, you know, it gives us more background, but it doesn't change anything to the main story, so I think it's totally alright to do it now. We'll start with Aerith anyway, but then we'll move on to Barret. Right, and then one last thing before we get started. I always say this when we play Ever Crisis. I try and remember to say it again throughout the stream sometimes, but I do want to emphasize that we are only focusing on the story tonight. It's just one tiny, you know, aspect of the game. The game is huge, there's a lot of content in there, including challenging content, and since I've been playing since day zero, like the crazy person that I am, my characters are extremely strong. It's a gacha game, so you can just sort of, you know, accumulate power, let's say, and I have accumulated a lot of it. So the fights are going to be completely uninteresting, there will be no challenge whatsoever. Please do not think that this is usually the case, and if you're playing through Ever Crisis for the first time, you will absolutely you know, find the story mode challenging, because it is made that way so that you get to go through the story as your characters are progressing. You don't have to do all the grindy stuff, you can sort of, you know, keep working on the story. We won't get that feeling at all tonight, because we'll just bulldoze everything. That's just because we're using my team, and they're extremely powerful. Alright, my friends, I suggest we fucking go. That's right. Alright, Ever Crisis, yay! Nice, that works. Wonderful. Alright, so chapter 1, there will only be one chapter because there's only been a single chapter released for each character so far. A Dream Picnic. This is this is Aerith talking here. I've always wanted to go on a picnic since I was little, and today's finally the day. But every time I try to have fun, something always seems to mess it up. Like that time, I couldn't go out and celebrate my birthday. Will today be different? will I finally get to enjoy a long-awaited picnic. So again, with the like the stakes are so much lower than in the main story, right? And I actually really love that. I'd watch like a theater show of just Final Fantasy characters just chatting, like give me 3 hours of the fucking gang just in some inn somewhere while they're traveling and they're just shooting the shit and talking and stuff. I love it. Show me the people behind the characters. Mom, what is me lunch? I need to leave now or I'm going to be late. They'll be ready in a minute. Sit tight. Today's picnic day for the Sector 5 House Orphanage, and I volunteered to help. I wanted to go on a picnic ever since I was little, and now it's finally happening. Here you go. I made extra for everyone. Thanks, Mom. I'll see you later. Is that a bottle of wine? Is she bringing wine to a kid's picnic? Alright, so it's unclear exactly when this takes place. I feel like she's a lot younger than when we meet her, so I'd say a few years back. But yeah, there's no given precise time. I first learned about picnics from a storybook I read growing up. When my mom told me what they were, I knew I had to experience it for myself. Mom, do you know what a picnic is? What do you do? What do you do? If you go to a beautiful place with people you care about to eat... You go to a beautiful place with people you care about to eat lunch and have a good time. Wow, that sounds like so much fun. I wish I could go on one. Mom, when can I go on a picnic? If you're a good girl, maybe someday. Say, Aerith, how would you like it if we went on an adventure? It'll be more exciting than a picnic. An exciting adventure? Fuck yeah! Don't swear, Aerith. Okay, then you need to do exactly what I tell you. We need to be sneaky, so you have to stay really quiet. The adventure turned out to be our escape from the Shinra building. We then hopped on a train to the slums. Alright. So, so like I was saying, it's unclear exactly when this whole picnic business is taking place. The second part of it, though, was clearly a flashback from when she was growing up in Shinra HQ. Now, I mean, it's clearly asset reuse, and we shouldn't read too much into that. But the interesting thing here is that, it made it seem like Ifalna and Aerith, like their quarters at Shinra HQ, were just those tiny little cells. They were exactly the cells that we got stuck in when we were trying to escape the Shinra headquarters. So again, asset reuse. They were not going to design a whole new room when they had that asset, since they had to do it for the story mode, right? But still, in Remake, we actually saw the room where she grew up, which was a lot better. It wasn't a cell, sure it was, and of course, they were both, her and her mom, essentially prisoners, but you know what I mean, is that it was decorated and stuff. It felt a lot less... This feels a lot more terrible than what we saw in Remake. And, again, like, the Doilist explanation is that it's asset reuse, but I do like to think of the Watsonian thing, that is, once again telling us, this timeline, the Ever Crisis timeline, is not the Remake timeline. Because they were not in the same room. Afterwards, I met my new mom, Elmira. Lots happened since then, and unfortunately, we never had time for a picnic. One, two... Wait, we're missing someone. Aerith, the picnic is off. Henry's missing. What? Henry? The new boy? That's right. We're all going to look for him. I'll help. That'd be great. Can you check around the road to Sector 6? Got it. Where did Henry go? So I'm going to skip the fights entirely. They are not... You know, when you play story mode, the fights are actually tied into the story, right? They always justify why there's a fight. These fights and those little side quests are just... they're just here for mechanical reasons. They, you know, they don't make any sense with regards to the story, so we'll just skip them. Henry, where are you? If you can hear me, say something. I guess the picnic will have to wait. What do I do with all this food? This is so typical. Every time I get excited for something, it falls through. Just like my birthday plans. Okay, Aerith, get changed. It's your birthday, so we should dress up and go somewhere fancy. Get dressed up and go out. That sounds fun! That sounds FUN! Oh, that must be the bodyguard I requested. I'll get it. Happy birthday, Aerith. Long time no see. We've been looking all over for you. I was supposed to go out with me mom, but that dumbass Tseng made a mess of our plans, and we had to call it off. Interesting thing here is, you know, Tseng looks the exact same even though Aerith is still a kid in that flashback, which makes me wonder how old he, you know, how old is Tseng? He looks young, right? They can't be that young. Henry! Watch out! I knew I didn't stand a chance, but I had to do something. And then I heard a gunshot. And when I came to... Up! Wake up! Huh? The fuck happened to the monster?
You bit it, right? You're really strong.
I guess. Yeah, maybe I am strong. Come on, Henry. Let's go. Everyone's worried about you.
I don't know.
Well, then let's walk around a little bit longer. We can take the long way back. Okay?
Okay.
Hey yo, Lum Lum! How are you, my friend? How have things been? How have you been? Be ready, a watchful eye. So we already kind of knew that Tseng and therefore Shinra, have known exactly where Aerith was the entire time, and they sort of chose to, keep an eye on her, but let her live out her life there with her mom, just doing her thing. This is another confirm, and we know. Well, alright, let's see more. I'm great, Lum Lum. I'm really great actually. It's cold as fuck here. I don't know about Italy, but France's weather is ridiculous. This is the worst fucking spring ever. But other than that, things are good. Things are good. I wanted to talk to Henry, so we went to the park. I thought it might make up for the picnic we missed, but he said it was nothing like one. Henry's a little piece of shit, isn't he? We had a fun day planned, didn't we? Why go off on your own? Yeah, Henry.
I was supposed to go on a picnic with me mom, but she left. Now she's gone.
So you were not looking for her?
I thought I heard her call my name. I'm not lying.
I believe you. Things like that can happen, especially if you wish really hard.
If I was strong like you, I could look for my mom even if she was far away. How can I get stronger?
That's the same question I've been asking myself for so long. You love the cold? It's been cold for months now, like, you know, I get wanting a bit of cold when it's the end of summer and you're tired of warmth, but I don't know. I want more sun and I want more heat. That day, when Tseng messed up our plans. If I were stronger, maybe things would have been different. You want 10 degrees forever? You're strange, Lum Lum. Also, aren't you guys, I don't know, Italy's way south. Are you supposed to like the heat?
He's wrong! I'm not an ancient. I'm not.
But Aerith, surely you hear voices sometimes, when you're all alone.
No, I don't.
What do he do? He found us. He's gonna take me back. I don't wanna go. I'm scared. Aerith. Aerith. Mom? Mom! Shinra have found us, and they're going to take me back to the lab. Calm down, Aerith. There's no reason to be afraid of something that hasn't happened yet.
But I can't help it. I just get more and more scared, and how do I make it stop?
You need to become strong. Strong enough to overcome the fear. I can do that? How? I want to get strong, so I can beat that man. Aerith, you'll be okay. I'll always be with you. Trust the planet and act as your heart tells you. You're surrounded by people who will protect and support you, even from within the live stream. I talked to Tseng. He's gone now. Hang in there, Aerith. Mom? Yes, dear. I don't want to go anywhere. I love you, and I want to stay right here. CZA, Elmara is a good mom, and she's the one who managed to, you know, like, make some sort of deal with Tseng so that Aerith could live out her life, you know, normally, or as close to normal as possible, considering, rather than being taken back to Ojo's lab. Henry, you're already strong. You came out here looking for your mom all by yourself.
Nah, I'm just a kid, and I ruined the picnic, but everyone's mad at me.
Then what do you think we should do? Taking the first step. That's also interesting. After losing the war against Shinra, except we've established that Yuffie is 17 years old, and we know the ceasefire with Wutai was at least 5 years ago. So she was 12. You know, I wouldn't say she lost the war, she was just a kid. Then again, I don't know. Maybe with like ninja training, you already fight in the war when you're 12. I don't know how those things work. Henry decided to apologize, so we returned to the house together.
No way! I can't! I look stupid!
So you're just going to leave? Are you sure? If that's what you really want, I won't stop you. Even Aerith is fed up with this shit.
Fine!
You can do it, Henry. There are so many people rooting for you. I know that listening to your heart is scary, when that might lead to people getting mad or even hating you. But watching you muster the courage to apologize to everyone gave me strength. What's truly scary isn't making others upset, but lying to yourself. Which is why I decided to go do what I've wanted to do for a long time. I love the bit that's coming up. If you've been thinking, this story isn't the most interesting, it's not quite as good as Clouds and Tifa's, well, agreed so far, but give it a minute. Just another Monday in the Sector 5 slums. Right here, yes. I always thought this would be the perfect place for a picnic. Sure, Aerith. Here is your lunch, Mum. I know it's not exactly the real thing, but it's close enough. Let's eat. Hey, baby. Hand over all your gear and you won't get hurt. Hey, Krieger! Welcome, friend! How are you, man? Krieger, we are doing the little quests that are in Ever Crisis. So they are flashbacks about the characters that gives us a bit more context. And they are Ever Crisis exclusives. Like, they're brand new storylines that were written just for Ever Crisis. So, exciting. And we're reaching the end of Aerith's one, but then we'll do Barret, and then we'll move on with the story. What is this, some kind of setup? Damn it! There is enough here for you too. Do you want some? A special! I hate Shinra, and I will never cooperate with them. But thanks for saving me and Henry today. No, not just today. You've always watched over me. Oh, and thanks for having a picnic with me. Alright, this is extremely sad. But, really big, you know, this is a big, that's what I was thinking you guys like. Alright, beginning of the story is a little... But, you know, it's extremely, the dynamic between Tseng and Aerith, I think is fascinating. And we sort of knew, again, you know, we knew from the flashbacks we got in all three versions of the game in the main story that Shinra, the Turks, absolutely knew where Aerith was. We just have a little more info on that, namely that Elmira's the one who managed to convince them to just let her live her life with her mom. And of course, you know, like it was a natural assumption to make that they've been keeping tabs on her. What we see with this flashback is that it's a lot more, you know, it's a lot more involved than we might have thought. And yeah, Tseng, it looks a lot like, you know, it was Tseng personally looking after Aerith all this time. And what I find really interesting is that they do seem to have this weird relationship where she actually kind of, I mean, you know, she sounded like she liked him, or that, you know, she's grateful for him watching over her, and she's very aware of it too, which I find really interesting. Especially when, you know, in the, shit, I remember, oh, alright, so, you know, the scene with the helicopter when Tseng abducts Aerith, in one of the two versions, he actually strikes her, he hits her, and not in the other one, which was quite a big difference, and I do feel like he's made out to be a lot more likable in Remake and Rebirth than he was in OG, and I feel like this is, I don't know, you know, I have a hard time believing that this Tseng, who sort of like, you know, he doesn't even say hi, but he does take the sandwich from her, you know, he's more this like weird guardian slash, you know, jailer, but with that complicated, you know, relationship. It's not just hate, is what I'm saying. I find it hard to believe that same person would just like hit her when she was defenseless some years later. So again, this is, I take this as maybe another proof that Ever Crisis is its own timeline. It's different, it's not just OG. Anyway, that was Aerith, and now Barret, and we're going to Coral, so there's going to be a whole lot of French accent. Alright, so again, this is Barret speaking here. Shinra took everything from me. My wife, my best friend, my right arm, my home. Marlene was all I had left, and I would have done anything to give her the life she deserves. But times were rough, and I lost my direction until I met someone who showed me the way. And we're gonna get some background, not just on Barret, but on Merlin as well. And so, you know, when we play Rebirth, the place we're at in Rebirth, I don't know if you guys remember if you were here last time, but we are essentially arriving in Corel, which is Barret's hometown. So what we're gonna see right now ties in really neatly to the next section we're gonna play in Rebirth, which will be this Tuesday. Cries in French. Hey, shh. I know you're hungry, but I don't have any milk. Daddy'll get some tomorrow, I promise. You'll have to wait till then, sweetie. I'm not the father you deserve, even though I promised myself I'd be. My home, Corel, was burned to the ground by Shinra. I lost my wife, my best friend, my right arm, everything. Everything except Marlene. Look at what you've done! This is all your fault! They were right. I was responsible for what happened. Everything I got, I deserved. But there were some who were still willing to help me. Like old man Sakaki, the engineer. He wasn't there when it all went to hell, but when he came back, he made me all kinds of prosthetics. No arm again today, huh? What? You didn't like the one I fitted you with the other day? Look, I appreciate the effort. I really do. It's just that none of them seem to feel right, you know? As long as you keep dwelling on your anger toward Shinra, nothing's gonna make you happy. You'll never be able to move on. I don't think there's anything more I can do for you. So consider this a parting gift. This here's an adapter that'll let you attach whatever you want. It's up to you to decide what that is. Just make sure you think real hard about it first. I heard what he said, but I was done thinking about it. I'd already made up my mind. Look at that thing. You gonna use that to get back at us? Hey, we didn't mean it, I swear! I didn't care how people treated me, but I couldn't stay here knowing that Marlene would get treated the same. I was her father, and I was gonna do everything in my power to make her happy. That's why they left Coral. So the interesting thing is that Barret's this sort of outcast in his own hometown for some reason, and we don't know what that reason is yet at all, right? We just know that everybody seems to hate him for some reason, and even he himself seems to blame himself for something and think that they're right to hate him. With Marlene in my arms, I left the village with no plan and no place to go. Marlene, please, stop crying. Damn it, what should I do? This is super interesting. Look at these guys. She must be hungry. Don't worry, we have plenty of milk to go around. Really? Of course. We're all born of the planet, and that makes us family. Marlene, here, drink up. Well, that was lucky. It's not every day you cross 3 weirdos, priests of some sort that happen to have human milk on them. I guess maybe it wasn't human milk, but still milk. Snores in French. Look at that. Guess all she needed was some milk after all. I cannot thank you enough. Blessings of the planet be upon you. Also, I didn't even remark upon it, but those 3 planetology speakers where like, they made the French flag, and this is the Barret section with the French accent. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that just a wonderful omen? I was consumed by my rage for Shinra, so much so that it almost destroyed me. The only thing keeping me going was Marlene. Truth be told, I wasn't the one who saved her. She's the one who saved me. Alright. I love it. Alright, so one really interesting thing, but again, I don't want to... maybe we shouldn't read too much into this, but did you guys notice that those planetology speakers look the exact same as the, reunion people with the black cloaks in Remake and Rebirth? Which is pretty interesting. Now, I can't think of a reason why that would be, because obviously, these folks are some sort of priest, I guess, or at the very least, like, preachers for planetology, which is, by definition, considering their beliefs, they can, they are enemies of Shinra. And conversely, Shinra obviously walks all over anybody who's into planetology, since they just use Mako as an energy source when those folks believe that it is the life stream and all the life essence that everybody comes from and returns to when they die. So why would they wear the same outfits as those folks that we know are they have something to do with soldier? They were either soldier candidates or ex-soldiers. One theory we could... And, yeah, sorry, I should say... that's why I'm saying maybe we shouldn't read too much into this. It is entirely possible that it's just a set reuse again. They weren't going to just design a whole new character for just this one scene. So they just went, fuck it. Grabbed the reunion people and then just changed the color. But again, this is the doyless explanation, right? Let's try and come up with a Watsonian explanation. And one theory that I think sort of makes sense is that maybe those black robes that they're all wearing are related to planetology, and maybe it's just that planetology people have been taking those poor people in and sort of trying to help them out, and so they've given them those dresses, just like so that they had something to wear. I think it is a possibility. It's also kind of weird, and I do think I also, like Whispers look a lot like the outfit from those reunion people, which I do not think is a coincidence. So probably not. I'm just saying, maybe that's a way to explain why these guys were dressed like that. But again, the most likely answer is it's got nothing to do with the story. It's just asset reuse. And it makes no sense in world, and we should not think about it too hard. But there you go. I gave you an alternative Watsonian theory if you wanted one. Anyway, in my search to find a safe home for me and Marlene, we crossed the ocean, and made our way to Under Juno. But it wasn't long before I saw how Shinra was screwing over the people there too, and making their lives a living hell. I'm sorry, Marlene. I thought things would be better if we left Corel, but this place doesn't seem too welcoming to outsiders. I'd lived in Corel my whole life, and coming here made me realize there were a lot of things I did not know about the world. Hey, you're a local, right? Do you know where I can find some work? Not from around here, huh? Sorry. Don't know anyone who can offer you a decent job right now. Used to be you could make a proper living out on the water, but ever since Shinra came, the ocean, the economy, even the fucking view, it's all gone to shit. It's all gone to shit. You might be able to get a gig making deliveries or doing some other shit contract work if you get in good with Shinra. I don't want anything to do with them. Yeah, you and everyone else. Who doesn't wish we could go back to the way things were? Life was a lot better before Shinra came. But now, it's all turned to shit. Damn right! If it went for them, motherfuckers. Rumor has it, there's a group called Avalanche, and they're looking to bring the bastards down. That sounds impossible if you ask me. This is also really nice. This is the first time Barret heard about them. Oh, never mind, I'm wrong. Avalanche. I'd heard that name back in Corel. Back when I still believed in Shinra and Zarmako reactors. Cole's days are numbered, man. It's past time we closed up the mines and let Shinra build a reactor. This way, we can continue to support our families. If anything, we'll be able to give them more than we had before. I get that the writing's on the wall, but that doesn't make it any easier. Mining's the only thing I know. Some folks are also saying that Shinra can't be trusted. That's a lot of bull. Big company like Shinra's got a reputation to uphold. I'm just telling you what the guy who came to buy coal the other day said. Claims Shinra robbed him of his land. Bunch of others who say they've been screwed over are planning a protest. They've even formed a group called Avalanche, I think? Back then, I thought they were fools for going up against Shinra. But it turns out that I was the biggest fool of them all. Alright, so this is sort of a big reveal. And what's really nice is that, you know, it explains so much. Like, it was foreshadowed. So Barret, when he was younger, and Shinra kind of, you know, decided to move to, like, settle in Corel, was pro-Shinra, and he actually, you know, helped make it happen, and then Shinra fucked everything up. That's why he's so pissed at them. And, you know, one of the times that this whole thing was hinted at was in Remake. I don't know if you remember, but when we, in Shinra headquarters, towards the end of Remake, when we arrive in this room, in the little museum area thingy, and there's this, you know, like Midgar miniature and all the Shinra propaganda and stuff, and Cloud's all like, well, you know, it is true that Mako makes people's life better, and Barret's all like, I used to believe this crap too, and it makes me even madder. And that's what he was talking about, is that, you know, he really bought into their bullshit, it brought tragedy upon him, and that's why his hatred for Shinra also has this whole, you know, self-loathing dimension to it, which I feel is really important to understand the guy, right? That's why he's so fucking angry all the time, is that there's a lot of guilt mixed in there too. It's not just hatred at Shinra, it's more than that. They tricked me and took everything I had. A damn protest wasn't gonna make me feel any better. So cute to see baby Merlin. Yeah, I agree, Krieger. And you know, like seeing them together when she was so very young and him struggling to just like, you know, etch out a living for the both of them is, I don't know, it's beautiful. I really love that story. And it's very, yeah, touching. I'll make every single one of those Shinra bastards pay. That's the spirit. That's the fire I'll need to get you through each and every day. I was angry. I wanted revenge. Before I knew it, I was working odd jobs to pay our way to Midgar, the location of Shinra's headquarters. And this is, you know, what's extremely interesting here is the difference between Tifa and Barret. And, you know, there's a clear parallel there. I think they you know, did a lot of that on purpose. Those parallels between the stories. I don't know if you guys remember, but in the Cloud little flashback, when Tifa finds him, he's like, you know, half passed out at a train station, and that is the exact same thing that happened when Elmira found Ifalna and Aerith, right? And we have another parallel there where there's this whole thing where Tifa kind of showed up in Midgar by happenstance, right? It was just her home was ruined. She needed to go somewhere. She went to the big city, and you know, it's only through meeting Jesse and friends and becoming friends with those guys that she got into planetology and the whole thing, right? Whereas Barret is the opposite. Like, he went to Midgar specifically to take the fight back to Shinra. You know, he didn't get talked into it, or he wanted to go there. Did we learn why he has a machine gun in his arm? No, we did not. When the flashback started, he already had his arm cut off. However, we did see him and some sort of engineer who kept, you know, trying to make prosthetics for him, but he was never happy with them. And eventually the guy told him, look, here's like an adaptator so that you can plug anything you want on it. And he sort of tells him, like, you know, I'm pretty sure what you're gonna do with it, but I really wish you got rid of your anger and tried to build something instead of whatever. And of course Barret went and got a fucking machine gun, but we do not know how he lost his arm at this stage. What we do know, though, is that it is related to Shinra, because he keeps saying, you know, they took everything from me. They took my wife, my right arm, and my best friend. So some Shinra shenanigans happened, but no, we still don't know what that is. Got a job for you, newbie. Need you to load all this into the delivery trucks. It's gonna be tough, especially with a baby. You sure you can handle it? Yeah, this is nothing. Back home, I used to mine coal and carry it out myself. Besides, I can't leave her all alone now, can I? Alright, well then get to it. I was having trouble getting used to my new arm. There you go. I couldn't move like before, and it was getting in the way of the job. Damn it! What the hell are you doing? That's valuable merchandise! I'm really sorry, sir. My hand slipped. I'll be more careful. I don't want an apology. Apologies can't fix what's broke. Hey sis, coucou ma sorette. Thank you for coming. How are you? Or how are you since earlier today when we spoke? Thank you so much for being here, sis. You're the best. You all guys are the best. I don't deserve you all. Thank you. This is what I get for letting you bring a damn baby on the job. It's okay, Marlene. It's okay. Just hang in there a little bit longer, okay? Great, this is all I fucking need. Here, it's payment for the day. Just take it and get lost. Man, I really messed up. But as long as you're safe, that's all that matters. Come now. Let's pick up some milk and head for the next town. I really like the, I don't know, maybe you might find it a bit on the nose, the whole, oh, he's a single Barret, he's really struggling. But I think it's really touching. Again, it shows this. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it in all three versions of the game. Whenever Barret's with his kid, you know, he's this very loving, protective father. But I don't know. I love it that we get to see them having more screen time, even though it's in such dire, you know, situations and stuff. I want to see them just chilling and being happy as a family, you know. But it's still, I don't know. It really shows how much he loves his kid, and how he'd do anything for her. And I do like that. Again, you might find it a little on the nose maybe, but I really like the whole, you know, there was no fucking way he'd get somebody to watch over her. Not only did they not know anyone because they were just going from city to city, but also I feel like there's this whole, you know, like, she does not leave my sight at any time. Like, I just work physical menial jobs with my kid because I don't want to be apart from her for a single second. I find that really, really touching. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Marlene. Yes, we're sleeping outside. Again. It's always in French. Huh. Chocobos. No, there's a bird taking proper care of its kid. And here I am, putting Marlene through all kinds of grief she doesn't deserve. Will I ever have the right to call myself her father? To drown out the answer I didn't want to hear, I decided to convince myself that I would. Daddy's gonna make it. Daddy's gonna make it! Daddy's gonna make it! Yeah, can I see that one coming, Barret? I love him. And I don't want to put too much emphasis on this because we'll get more answer. There was a little something there, you know, in the right to call myself her father, and you might already sort of be onto things. I don't know. I realize I'm just rambling. If you think you know what I'm talking about, you probably do. But again, we'll learn more about Barret and Marlene through the main story later on. So I don't want to say too much about that. But do keep that line in mind because again, this is all, you know, I fucking love the scenes. Like they're really neatly written, and you can really tell that they did all they could to, you know, tie it into the rest of the story, make as many references to different things as they could, tie up a few loose ends. I love them so fucking much. This is why Ever Crisis is the fucking best. As we traveled, I kept taking on odd jobs to make money. We mostly slept outside, but there were days when we were lucky to have a roof over our heads.
This is Jesse!
Days when we managed to slip into planetology workshops and screenings. Snow was in French. His snoring's driving me crazy. Will someone please kick him out? Why is he even here? Let him be. He's part of our family too, and one day, he'll come to appreciate our teachings. Now, I'm sure you're all tired. Perhaps this is a good time to take a break. Huh? What's going on? Is it over? Nah, we're just taking a break. Good. Then we don't have to leave just yet. Hi there. What's your name? Oh, right. It's rude of me to ask without telling you my name first. I'm Jesse. Nice to meet you. Sorry, Marlene is a bit shy. By the time Marlene had taken her first steps, she still hadn't spoken a word. Maybe it was because of what she went through back in Corel. Or maybe it was because of me. Wait, is it that weird for a human to walk before they talk? Yeah, I guess babies say their first words long before actually walking. I mean, I get that she's obviously, you know, old enough that it makes sense that Barret would take notice of this at this point. It's just the way you phrased it that shook me off, but no, I guess it makes sense. Is she your daughter? You two don't look anything alike. Jessie. She's my daughter. Don't make me tell you twice. Yes, sir. Well, families come in all shapes and sizes. It's one of the things they teach here. You don't have a place to live, do you? Nah, we are just passing through. Where are you from? Gorel. The town wiped out by Shinra. Wait, who told you that? The official report stated it was the work of anti-reactor activists. I've seen firsthand that Shinra's official reports are usually nothing but bullshit. Hey, you know what? Why don't you... never mind. What? Come on, spit it out. Well, I'm about to give a presentation, so why don't you stay and listen? And, you know, if it speaks to you, we could talk after. Regardless of whether we share the same blood or the same skin color, as long as we share this planet, we're family. The live stream connects us all. I'd heard people speak about planetology before, but I never really got it. For some reason, though, I understood exactly what Jessie was saying. For some reason. Maybe because she was talking about us. To us, even. Maybe because it made me reflect on the worries that I wasn't fit to be Marlene's father. I'd been so afraid. But according to planetology, we were a family, like any other. Simple as that. And the realization sparked something inside of me. My father got Mako poisoning. They say he's in a coma, cut off from the rest of us, but I believe we're still connected, through the live stream. And that's why Shinra can't keep killing the planet. Our planet. Shinra, they took everything from me, and now they were gonna destroy the live stream. The thing connecting me with Marlene. I wasn't about to let that happen. If you agree, then fight with us. Marlene, I made up my mind. Hmm? Blessings of the planet be upon you. Blessings of the planet be upon you.
Yeah, blessings of the planet be upon you.
Hey, that girl who gave the presentation, Jessie, where did she go? Did she get you riled up with that speech of hers? I'd forget about it if I were you. Sometimes those radicals show up to those workshops, you know, Avalanche and the like. I think she might be one of them. Did I ask for your fucking opinion? I asked you where she went. She already left. There's a place called 7th Heaven in the Sector 7 slums. Talk to the bartender there. She might know. 7th Heaven, Sector 7 slums. Got it. Marlene, Daddy's going to learn more about planetology for the sake of our planet. But remember, you're the most important thing to me and will always be family. Okay?
Okay.
What?
Daddy.
Marlene, did you just...
Daddy.
Marlene, did you just say daddy? You did! Yes, you did! That was the day the planet brought us together and made us a true family. And I'm gonna do whatever I can to make her proud. Watch out! Here I come! Isn't that adorable? Alright, there's a lot. Oopsie, sorry, it is 10 PM, so dailies are resetting. But that's good, because it gives me a chance to process all that. There was a lot in there. One of the things, so after the Tifa flashback, I went on this long tangent about how Avalanche is not just, like I was saying earlier today, not just eco warriors. They are actual believers in a religion. They have a spiritual view of the world, and everything. The live stream Mako that justifies their anti-Shinra acts. And the really interesting thing is that Tifa got into all that through Jessie, so Jessie converted her, right? And we see the same thing happening here. And again, so with the parallel, they did a lot of these, and again we have the same one where like Jessie converted both of them, which I find really interesting because when you look at the main story from whichever the three versions of it, Barret is the leader of the Splinter Avalanche cell that we know and love, right? And so it's easy to assume. I mean, before reading the story, I didn't really ask myself the question, but after reading it, I sort of realized that I was assuming that since Barret was now the leader, he was probably the one who got them all into this. Also, he was quite close to he is quite close to Tifa. And let me put the screen back on just so you guys can see the whole things we go through when we... Oh, it's just the one thing. If you don't mind, while I ramble on... No, it's just laggy on my computer, God. If you don't mind, while I ramble on about what we've just seen, I'm just gonna do one thing, because I'm always super scared of forgetting. We get one free draw per day, for spring break, apparently. Anyway, let's do that on stream. Also, I often try and watch people stream Ever Crisis, and the really funny thing is I feel like at least half the people streaming are just like drawing. And so there's this whole gacha thing where sometimes, like in this case, you get free draws, but usually you'd spend either real money or the currency that you earn in the game. This is not the only way, but it's the main way to get weapons in the game and stuff. But anyway, back to Barret and planetology and stuff. And so yeah, Jessie's actually the one, who got both Tifa and Barret, who would eventually go on to become the leader of the very Splinter Cell that she's in, into planetology and into Avalanche. And what I find really interesting, it's kind of subtle, but it is there if you care to look for it, is that Jessie approached both Barret and Tifa very, very differently. And don't get me wrong, I love Jessie as a character, as you all know, if you've watched my stream before, but and it came up. I guess I don't say every single stream that I love Jessie Raspberry, but I do really like, yay, we got a 5-star, woo! I also don't know how you're supposed to do this, like, it's just really get excited on stream thing. So don't think that I am throwing shade at Jessie for doing what she did. But, it's not nothing that Gatling Gun will actually forget. That's fine. I'll just take her a bit later, off stream. Okay, so she approached Tifa because actually Tifa kind of is the one who really wanted to be friends with them. But she's the one who kind of told Tifa like, hey, maybe you should come to my thing. Like essentially. I think the parallel is with those religions that actually try and convert people is the same thing, right? Like you meet someone, get friendly, and they're like, hey, you should come by my church. No pressure, just check out the sermon and see how it feels to you. That's how she did it with Tifa. And here it was the opposite, where so Barret met those people on the road. And he realized that it was a safe place for him and Merlin. They were broke as fuck and homeless. And so I'm guessing it is also, it is kind of the, it's sort of a trope, right? Like the homeless person who goes to church or other places of worship just to get some heat and stuff. So that's how he ended up there. And, he wasn't even really listening to the sermons until Jessie specifically, like, told him, hey, you should listen to my thing. And Barret is very aware of it, right? He says, like, she wasn't just talking about us, she was talking to us. I think Jessie very consciously, phrased her sermon to rile Barret up with what little information she had about him. You know, what I'm saying is that she is very much an evangelist. She actively converted 2 people, and, you know, she went about it differently, which is... And again, it's not to say, in both cases, I truly believe that she's a good person who saw those 2 people and will, like, you know, I can help them. I'm not saying she's this weird, you know, fucking mastermind manipulating people into converting to her faith. But you know what I'm saying, is that she does it for all the right reasons, but still, you know, she's not just randomly talking about her faith and every now and then people get interested in it. She's very consciously trying to see which way to broach the topic so that she can maximize her chance of converting people. And again, like, please don't get me wrong with in the case of Seven, the Seven universe, it seems that they're right? Planetology is actually right. The spiritual beliefs are the actual metaphysics of the universe, and that's how it works. And so, you know what I'm saying is that if you know you're right, if you know the truth about the universe and the meaning of life, then yeah, surely you should tell other people, right? It'd be kind of weird not to. So I'm not throwing shade at them at all for doing that. It makes a lot of sense, but it's interesting. And there's also, and this is why it's a gray area, and that's what I love. And, you know, it's not supposed to be Avalanche are the good guys and Shinra are the bad guys. It's a lot more complicated and nuanced than that. And there's this whole thing too, right, where, like, planetology is a mainstream religion, it seems like. And then, of course, all Avalanche members, or I'm guessing most Avalanche members, are probably into planetology. But the reverse is not true. And, you know, folks, when Barret asked about Jessie, they were immediately like, oh, you know, she's one of those radicals, like, don't associate us with her. We're just here worshipping, man. Like, you know, we're not all terrorists, essentially. And, you know, Jessie very clearly is using the church, like a place of worship, to recruit people for the more radical side of things, right? It's not just about her beliefs and her faith. It is about finding fighters for Avalanche. Which, again, I personally feel they're very right, and, you know, I'm 100% with them, and fuck Shinra, and let's blow up some reactors. But still, you know, I do think that it is an ethical... It's clearly not, you know, ethically trivial that it's okay to do it this way. Like, I don't think you should use people's faith as a means of recruiting them into your radical movement. Honestly, it's kind of fucked up, Jesse. I'm sorry to say, but it's kind of fucked up. Anyway. Alright, yo, that's the end of the first part of our stream. We are done with those little side stories. I hope you enjoyed it. You could probably tell, right? But I love them so much, so very, very much. Especially Tifa's and Barret's. Cloud's is also great. Aerith's one maybe a little less so, but then it does give us some really interesting new facts, right, about her relationship with Sang. It's also one of the things where Ever Crisis seems to diverge from OG, which is always exciting to me. And yeah, now we are going back to the main story. And so, again, just before we get started, 2 things. The first one is that I've said this when we started streaming, but I want to say it once again. What you will see right now is not representative of how Ever Crisis normally feels like. Especially the fights are going to be stupid and we'll just go on auto mode and you know, walk all over everything. That's not how it's supposed to be. If you were actually playing the game from the start, those fights would be somewhat challenging, or, you know, at least interesting. And if this makes you want to give the game a go, please do, and don't think that this is all there is. There's a lot more. Even when you play a lot and you get really serious, there always is challenging content. Unless you're willing to blow like 2k a month, in which case you can probably walk all over everything, just like we're gonna walk all over the story mode tonight. But story mode is not the only thing in Ever Crisis. And so the second thing is, so sorry about the... I realize it's a bit of a weird transition to kind of stop with these flashbacks that are a lot more character-centric and stuff and jump right back into the action, but that's what we're gonna do. We've just escaped Midgar in Ever Crisis, and we are on the hunt for Sephiroth. Let's continue, my friends. Determined to find Sephiroth, Cloud and the others arrive at Kong, a town near Midgar, and head to the inn for some much-needed rest. And yes, my friends, we are gonna get the Cam flashback for the... Is it the 4th time now we've watched the same thing together? But you know, the Ever Crisis version of it, yay! Let me just move my move my face out of the way. And I did not read what Barret just said. I'm guessing from the real professional Morgan. But again, we've seen this scene or variants of this scene in different timelines so many times. I think Barret was like, "Yo, Cloud, yo, Clued. So explain to us, how do you know Sephiroth? What's the deal, man?" I used to want to be like Sephiroth, so I joined Soldier. After working with him on several missions, we became friends. Just like that? Well, he was older than me, and hardly ever talked about himself. Size in Italian. I guess you'd call us war buddies. We trusted each other. I mean, until one day. After the war, it was Soldier's duty to put down any resistance against Shinra. That was 5 years ago. I was 16. We were wondering about his exact age, DA. I know we already had the answer in one of the other versions, but yeah, he's 21 when the story takes place. It sure is raining hard. Hey, how you doing? I'm alright. Motion sickness, huh? I wish I could help, but I've never gotten it, so I wouldn't know how to cope. Sorry. How about you? Everything okay? Hey, subtle Dane. They gave me some new materia. I can't wait to use it. Just like a kid. So, you gonna brief us about this mission? This isn't a typical one. Good. Why do you say that? I joined soldiers, I could be like, yeah. But by the time I made first class, the war was already over. My hopes of becoming a hero like you ended with the war. That's why I always sign up whenever there's a big mission. Kind of, a way to prove myself. So, what's it like being a hero anyway? I thought you wanted a briefing. Our mission is to investigate an old Mako reactor. There have been reports of it malfunctioning and producing brutal creatures. First, we dispose of those creatures. Then, we'll figure out the source of the problem and deal with it. Brutal creatures? Where? A Mako reactor at Nibelheim. Nibelheim? Yo, that's where I'm from. Your hometown, eh? I see. Sir, something strange just crashed into our truck. It's just a dragon. Come on, let's get to work. The dragon fled, its tail between its legs. Sephiroth's strength is incredible. He's far stronger in reality than any stories you may have heard about him. So, where do you come in? Me. I was mesmerized by the way Sephiroth fought. Boy, crash! And then, we reached Nibelheim. Turn off the music. I have the... I don't know if any of you guys use my, closed caption thingy. But on my feedback, it's like stuck on me saying even Aerith is fed up with his shit. Which, you know, was a while ago. Interesting. Also, what did I just do? I went back somehow. Alright, so extremely similar to what we've seen in both OG and Rebirth. Yeah. If you're just joining us, or this is the first time you watch me stream either OG or Ever Crisis, I do see the accents, and you might notice that sometimes people have the same accent. It's not because I'm lazy and I'm giving them the same accents. It's actually, I try to make it sort of lore accurate, where, like, you know, Sephiroth, I give him sort of the same accent as I did Ifalna and Aerith. That's not for nothing. In Corel, everybody has a French accent, and in Nibelheim, well, you'll see. And there's a reason why Cloud, who's from Nibelheim, does not have the Italian accent, but it's all... I'm a little crazy and weird. How does it feel? It's your first time back in a long time, right? I wouldn't know, because I don't have a hometown. What about your parents? My mother, Genova, died shortly after I was born. My father... my father... does it matter? Come on, let's go. Alright, and I realize I make the same comment every single time we see this little bit there. But... are we supposed to assume that Ojo is Sephiroth's dad? Or Gast, who's Ojo's predecessor? Yo, wait a minute. The name of Sephiroth's mother. Isn't that, Genova, right? That's that damn headless spook living in the Shinra building. Yeah. Barret, would you please let us hear what Cloud has to say? You can ask questions later. Tifa, I was only... Okay, Cloud, continue. Ciao, Barret. Shut up for a minute. Oh, interesting. There's 3 troopers with them. It was only 2 in both other versions. Oh no, there was a driver, right? Huh. Did they forget about the driver in OG and Rebirth? I don't remember ever seeing 3 troopers in their party. The town was quiet. Everyone must have been in their houses, afraid to come out because of the monsters. Or maybe they were afraid of us. What are you looking at? The scenery. I feel like I know this place. We leave for the reactor at dawn. Make sure you turn in early. All we need is one lookout, so everyone else, get some rest. Sir! Oh, and you may visit your family and friends. I've also hired a guide to lead us to the Mako reactor. I've heard she's young. I hope we can rely on her. It's a bit laggy, I'm sorry. It's because of my computer, not the game. Hey, you feeling any better? Yeah, but now I'm nervous as hell, man. Why? Monsters could attack at any time, right? Yeah, I can't wait. Right, you're here to prove that you're a hero. I hope you get your chance. Tifa! One really interesting thing. So I'm still thinking about the Barret flashback we got. Is the whole seventh heaven thing. If you guys were here, I've been speculating a lot about. I feel like in remake, it was very strongly implied that Barret and Marlene actually lived upstairs from seventh heaven, while we know that Tifa lived in Stargazer Heights, like elsewhere in the Sector 7 slums, right? And the no, don't skip the content. The interesting thing is that I've oh, I'm sorry, give me just 1 second. I'm trying to fix the fucking subtitles. Excuse me. Yeah, and okay, so in remake, I feel like it's implied that Barret and Marlene live right above seventh heaven, while in OG, we have this thing where they kind of all sleep. All the Avalanche crew like sleeps in the same room, like in the secret basement room of seventh heaven. Which could be because specifically, you know, that one night they did that because they were going on a mission the next day or something. It doesn't mean that they're always camping it out there. But anyway, I do feel like this sort of relationship, and again, this is like, you know, I'm making a lot of assumptions based on what little info I have, but I felt like in remake the implication was that Barret actually owns the seventh heaven, and you know, Tifa's just sort of is and I never remember the word whenever I give you guys my little theory, but you know, when you work like typically in a bar, but you don't actually own the bar, right? You're not the business owner, you're just running it for that person. Sort of like a manager, but that's not the word I'm looking for. But anyway, you know what I mean. Like Tifa's kind of like the seventh heaven manager, but Barret's the actual proprietor. And it's not the same in OG at all. The implication seems to be very different. And the really funny thing, interesting thing here is that when Barret was looking for Jessie, you know, they said, well, I don't know where she is, but you should ask the seventh heaven bartender. This is obviously supposed to be Tifa, right? Which means that in the Ever Crisis timeline, at least, Tifa started working at seventh heaven before Barret even arrived in Midgar. And that changes everything, right? That's it. Well, I mean, no. It is still, again, you could still do this whole, you know, try to make it work so that everything fits, and everything we've seen in each of the three timelines, when it comes to seventh heaven and Barret and Tifa actually works out. Anyway, it could be something like, yeah, Tifa was working there, and then Barret showed up, he and Marlene actually decided to stay in Midgar, got involved with Avalanche and stuff, and at some point he bought the bar and let Tifa run it for him, or some such. It's not, you know, those two informations are not incompatible, but yeah, you do need to split hairs to make it work. Whereas it could just be yet another difference between the timelines. Is that in the Remake Rebirth timeline, Barret owns seventh heaven, whereas in the Ever Crisis timeline, it's just a bar, probably an Avalanche friendly bar, but you know, just a bar that Tifa works at. Anyway, next morning. And the driver's gone again. What the fuck? Once the guy gets here, we're heading out. Listen to me, Sephiroth. If something were to happen, trust me. I'll be alright, Dad. I have 2 men from Soldier with me. I'm a thief. Nice to meet you. Holy shit, Tifa? You're the guy? That's alright. It so happens I'm the best guide in this town. I can't get you involved in this. It's too dangerous. There is no problem if you protect her. Now, let's go. Sephiroth, sir, would you mind posing here for a picture? Tifa, can you ask him for me too? This was a lot weirder than that scene in the other two versions. Like, he literally just asked, why would he ask Tifa when Sephiroth is standing right there? I'm saying, it's weird, right? But I'm not complaining about those beautiful scenes, and you all know how much I love Ever Crisis and those graphics and stuff. Just the you know, character placement, let's say, was a little strange. A little... Smile. Look at Tifa posing. I'll give each of you a copy once I get it developed. Alright, so the interesting thing about that one line, I'll give you a copy once it is developed, is that the first time we heard it, we were like, yeah, okay, sure, fine. And then the second time when we knew what was coming, we were like, damn, it's dramatic. And now it's the third time, so I don't know how you guys feel about that one specific line, but they're never getting that picture. Alright, that's our first fight of the night! Yes! And it's just Cloud. And he's probably gonna be wearing his little, yep, Zidane cosplay from FF9. I hope that's alright with you guys. Let's just get rid of the... just go through the fights as fast as we can. I won't bother about... I won't bother trying to make them wear the clothes they're supposed to wear in the cutscenes and stuff. Which I could, because I do have Tifa's cowboy outfit, but... don't die. Thanks, EA. I'll try not to. I think we'll be alright. I could, I realize sometimes when I listen back to bits of my streams when I stream Ever Crisis, I feel like I'm bragging so much, like I keep saying, yeah, I'm so fucking good, like, my character's as strong as fuck and I've never spent a dime. Which, you know, I'm not doing this to brag, but... But ever since the monsters started coming down from Mount Nibble and attacking people, holy shit, Tifa, stay back. Well, yeah, there's the... so, you know, there's a co-op mode in Ever Crisis where you play with 2 other players, you're just matched together. Or you can play with your friends if you have friends who play Ever Crisis. Which I do. I've got a few. But mostly I play with randoms, and sometimes it can be annoying, especially since, again, I'm gonna do the bragging thing, but like, so, you know, when you play, you normally play up to 3 characters, right? But when you're in co-op mode, you just play 1 character, and then the rest of your party are actual other human players. And like, there are fights that I have to do in co-op, because that's just the way it is, right? But I could actually, my Tifa could solo that fight, and it'd just be so much faster than waiting for people to click the start fight button. And then sometimes they do things like, they use their limit breaks when, and you know, it's like a long animation when I'm like, bro, you know, 1 hit of my Tifa is more than your limit break. You're just making us watch a 7-second cutscene out of a, whatever, 37-second fight. Just let me handle it. You know, I kind of wish I could just like tell people, yo, you let me do this. Please don't even do anything, okay? Anyway, what if they manage to get as far as the village? We're here to make sure that doesn't happen. Let's go. Damn, it's really fucking laggy. Well. Oh, look. We haven't met this dude yet in either our Rebirth or OG playthrough. But you might remember catching a glimpse of him in Remake Rebirth when Was it at the end of Remake, or was it in the Yuffie DLC? But in one of the two, we see this little cat creature, kind of like overlooking Midgar from somewhere. I don't know if that rings any bells for you guys, but we have caught a glimpse of this little guy before. And the, you know, this good-looking fellow there that you can barely see because he's all blurry, is Glenn. It's young Glenn. Glenn from Rebirth, who made Rufus shit his pants. Cool Glenn. I like Glenn a lot. I like all the First Soldier characters a lot. There's a lot of Sephiroth, actually. Interestingly, I find him to be the least interesting of the four, but... A Mako reactor had been built on Mount Nibble. The cold mountain air was the same as I remembered. I really like that. But you know, this is Cloud talking to his friends, like present 21-year-old PTSD fucking, you know, like... I don't show my emotions, Cloud, but he does take the time to say that. The mountain air felt exactly like I remembered. Let me tell you about the worst day of my life. The mountain air was crisp. The birds were singing. Slow and steady, don't shake it and you'll be fine. Oh, fuck, shit! The bridge! Suddenly, the old bridge collapsed and we fell into the ravine. Thankfully, most of us only had a few scratches. Remember how Tifa was all like, I'm the best guy in town! Let's walk through this bridge. It is totally safe. Wait, no, it is not. Oh fuck, mamma mia. We lost track of one trooper, but decided we had to press on. There's a lot of emphasis put on how, you know, like Cloud really is buddy-buddy with the two troopers. Again, in all three versions we saw that. That's really interesting. To reach the Mako reactor, we cut through a cave running through the side of the mountain. And again, I always say this, the loading screens are not usually this long. This is just my computer struggling to run Ever Crisis. It is not. If you play it on your phone, it's a lot snappier. Look at all those stranger colors. Mr. Mako, this mountain is especially abundant in it. That's why the reactor was built here in the first place. If we get that out of the way, we should be able to pass through. Oh, is it a dungeon? I didn't realize we'd started a dungeon sequence. Alright, so kind of the same deal here. Well, you guys know, if you've seen me, if you watch me stream any other game really, you know how I am super OCD about exploring everything and shit. We're not going to do that tonight because I've explored these dungeons entirely, so we'll just run to, you know, just rush the story, if that's alright with you guys. There's never any hidden cutscene or anything, you know, it's just for treasure chests and stuff like that, which I have all of them, so no need to do that. Alright, so while we have a minute while I'm going through this here dungeon, so I feel like it's, I mean, you know, it is laggy as fuck because of my computer, but I do feel like it's even worse for you guys. Oh man, I don't know. Let me know if you know, it's unwatchable, if it's really too, yeah, too laggy. I do feel like, I don't know, you guys tell me, but I feel like it's alright. Again, we're really focusing on the story here, right? And I absolutely love those Ever Crisis graphics, as I keep saying. But you know what I'm saying is that I think it's a lot less disturbing. It's fine here? Alright, it's just me tripping then. Thank you so much, Marm. And happy to hear that. I stopped worrying about the bandwidth and rambling about that. Sorry. Hey, what's this? A Mako Spring. It's a miracle of nature. It's so beautiful, but if the Mako reactor continues to suck up the energy, springs like these will disappear. Materia. When you condense Mako energy, materia is produced. It's very rare to see materia in its natural state. I've always wondered, how does materia let you cast spells? You're a soldier, and you don't know that? The knowledge and wisdom of the ancients is sealed within each one. Anyone with this knowledge can freely tap into the power of the land and the planet itself. Through this connection we can then use magic, or so they say. Magic, a mysterious power. Did I say something funny? A man once told me never to use unscientific terms like mysterious power. It shouldn't even be called magic. I still remember how angry he was. So this man is clearly either Ojo or Gast. Again, Gast being Ojo's predecessor. We've heard about him a couple times. We don't know a lot about him. I do think we heard from Sephiroth that he was, you know, like, he was a great man and Hojo is, you know, less than the shadow of his dick. Or, not his terms, but, you know, textually that's what Sephiroth was saying. And, yeah. I'm not sure which of the two he's talking about. I'm not sure when Ojo took over for Gast. I'm not sure what happened to Gast. But I guess we'll find out. Who was that? I'm so sorry, yo. I forgot that he actually spelled it out. Hey! I was right, though. I said either Ojo or Gast. Hojo, from Shinra's science department. A man with a huge chip on his shoulder who is assigned to take over the work of a great scientist. I literally just spoiled that, didn't I? I'm so sorry. Then again, this is the first time we're watching this scene, so I hope you all will forgive me. Anyway, let's keep moving. So yeah, Sephiroth really likes Gast and kind of looks down on Hojo, which, you know, bringing it back to the question of his parentage, if he even has a dad, which is not entirely clear, right? But if he does, I feel like it works both ways, right? He could have this utter contempt for Hojo because he knows and he kind of hates that this mediocre, creepy, fucking weird pervert man is his dad. Or it could be that he has this contempt for him because he took over for his dad, for whom he actually had respect. A Mako Spring. So this thing contains the knowledge of the ancients, eh? Make. You know the amazing thing? Amazing! Are you ready to be amazed? You'd better be sitting down for this. So see how, like, when in this, you know, art style, there's like this new OG style but remade type, you know, like the fights and stuff. There's like 3D graphics are just using Unreal. It's the same engine, excuse me, that is used for Remake and Rebirth and stuff. So, you know, there was a lot less work. But they actually went through the trouble of redoing everything. All those scenes with the new Ever Crisis specific graphics are amazing. And the really funny thing is, so there's a bunch of outfits in this game, right? kind of in your typical gacha fashion. So that's why my Cloud is dressed up like Zidane from FF9. It's one outfit I got for him. And the really cool thing, we're in story mode, so he looks like he's supposed to look at this point in the story. But when you do dungeon, and there are some dungeons that are not tied to story mode. Well, you unlock them through story mode, but they're just, you know, hard battle content for serious players. And the really cool thing is that they actually went through the trouble of creating the assets, the graphical assets, for every single outfit of every single character. So, you know, if you have an outfit in the game and you make your character wear it and make him be the leader of your party, and then you launch a dungeon with him as the leader of your party, he will actually show up in those graphics wearing that outfit. And, you know, from a, like, development standpoint, it's a lot of work. And, you know, it already is a lot of work just designing outfits for characters, and, you know, they need to be interchangeable, right? So it's a lot of work. And they actually go through the extra trouble of making them also for those graphics here, and not just the beautiful 3D graphics, which is amazing. Like, I for one would not have been mad at all if, when it's graphics like that, each character just has the one look, right, and it does not match his outfit in the fights. But no, they actually go through the trouble of recreating all of them, and I think it's brilliant. And they also sometimes use them. So for instance, if you remember, in the Barret flashback, at some point he had this long, dark green cape type outfit. It's one of the outfits you can get in Ever Crisis for him, or you could get. Sorry, I'll shut up. Focus on the story, Morgan. There is light up ahead. That must lead outside. Finally. Tifa, stay back. So the interesting thing here is that in both OG and Rebirth, I don't know if you guys remembered, but we actually got to have Sephiroth on our team. And here they did not do it. It's just Cloud. However, there was a... so, to celebrate Rebirth's release, there was a crossover event in Ever Crisis, between Ever Crisis and Rebirth. Is it not the same game? Well, no, it's not the same game. It's two games about the same game. And the really interesting thing is that they essentially... So you could play through what was the free demo of Rebirth, but in Ever Crisis mode. And so it's essentially what's happening right now, right? But it was slightly different, and I really love... And they reused a lot of the cutscenes and stuff. I mean, you know, the whole point of the event, of course, was to hype up Rebirth and make people want to buy it. Which is totally fine, but it's the only kind of advertising I'm okay with, I guess. But yeah, there are slight differences. There are... Not slight, but there are differences between the two. Which, I'm sorry, I know I keep saying this, but it's really important. It's why this is so cool. It is not the same timeline, yo! Wow, our soldiers are really strong. Okay, let's go. We've come a long way and should be nearing the Mako reactor soon. Bum, bum. I love the music so much. Hey, Zach. Alright, so news from the front, y'all. Nomura-san, there's... I don't know if that prologue is worth getting into, but the Ultimania was just for Rebirth, was just released in Japan. Ultimanias are those books that contain a whole... I don't own any single one of them. I kinda... They're material items, and it's not important, but, you know, as an FF nerd, I'd love to have some in my collection, but yeah. They're those books that contain a whole bunch of shit, including, you know, the people involved in creating the games talking about stuff. They confirm a lot of, like, lore stuff and shit. And they've been around forever. Like, I think OG7 had an Ultimania come out. I might be wrong about this, but anyway. for a good long time, every Final Fantasy that's come out has had at least one Ultimania. And I've just recently learned, in my mind, they were not ever translated in Western languages. I was wrong about that. So I guess there's a chance we might get it in English at some point. But anyway, some beautiful people who speak both English and Japanese have translated at least parts of it. Probably people have gone through the whole thing and translated it all by now, I guess. But anyway, story, Morgan, and I'll tell you guys what we've learned from Ultimania in just a second. Whoa! Had to take the long way, but we finally made it. Tifa, you wait here. I'm going inside too, I wanna see. Sorry, no civilians. This place is filled with Shinra's and Thirsty secrets. But, you, take care of the lady, will ya? I like how Sephiroth always, like, turns around, and then since he's slaggy, his hair goes like... I think it's supposed to be, you know, like, classy and a little sexy, and it's not. Again, if you were playing this on your mobile, it would look classy and sexy. Or, you know, insofar as those graphics work for you. Anyway. Aww. You better keep me safe. Right, so, Ultimania. They talk a little bit about Part 3. And Nomura-san said something extremely interesting. It's kind of a meta spoiler. I don't know how you guys feel about that. About, you know, when devs say stuff about upcoming games and stuff. There's nothing, you know, story. It's just, oh, there's something that you should look forward to while being vague about it. Anyway. This is Genova, right? It won't open. Death or serious injury can occur. I also really like, you know, Barret immediately, when Cloud was telling them that Sephiroth said his mom's name was Genova, because again, that's the way Cloud tells story, like, you get the whole thing. The crisp mountain air was exactly as I remembered. Also, Sephiroth told me about his mom, and her name was Genova. She went to college in Paris. And, you know, Barret was immediately like, wait a second, Genova, I know that name! And Cloud, literally the next day after hearing his pals' mom was called Genova, arrives in a weird place with like Genova, risk of, you know, injury or death may occur, do not open. And he's kind of like, oh, funny, Genova. Where did I hear that one? This must be the reason for the malfunction. This part here is broken. Cloud, go shut off the valve. Remember how I struggled to find that fucking valve in in OG? Why did it fail? Oh, Joe. Doing this will never put you on the same level as Professor Gast. This is a system that condenses and freezes Mako energy. That is, when its use is intended. Now, what does Mako energy become when it's further condensed? Oh, yeah, becomes material, right? Right, normally. But Hojo put something else in there. Take a look. What the fuck is that? What's inside this thing? Some kind of fucking monster? Yes. The ones we're here to take care of. They were created by Hojo. Living organisms, infused with and mutated by Mako energy. That's what these monsters really are. Normal members of Soldier like you are humans that have been showered with Mako. You're different from other people, but still human. But these subjects, they've been exposed to far higher concentrations of Mako than you. So let me just pause for a second here, because this is, you know, I'm gonna realize we've seen this. Actually, I don't think we've gone this far in OG, if I remember right, but we've definitely seen the Rebirth version of it. But this is really important for the lore and the setting, and whenever we talk about the reunion people and all that, is that soldiers are infused with Mako. So Shinra actively makes them, you know, I always say huff Mako jokingly. I don't know how it actually... Why is the door open? Did you guys see your cat walk past me? I don't know what form it takes, but yeah, they use Mako, which again is like, it's dead people slash god slash the planet's blood. And they inject it into people, and that's why they become soldiers, and that's why Cloud and Sephiroth are such badasses who can, you know, jump ridiculous heights and shit. Even Rosh, who's only 3rd class, while these two guys are 1st class, he does do super impressive shit, right? Well, he's been Mako injected. And that's also why Cloud's eyes look all weird. You clearly... Well, maybe you can kind of, you know... When you see... Excuse me, Sephiroth, it's the same. He's got this weird... green, blue, glowy Mako eyes. But these subjects... They've been exposed to far higher concentrations of Mako than you. Do note that he said than you, and not than us. Normal members of Soldier like me. Sorry, normal members of Soldier like me? Wait, you mean you're different? Sephiroth? Could it be that I... Was I created the same way? Am I the same as all these monsters? Sephiroth? You saw all of them were human. Human? The fuck are you saying, bro? Ever since I was little, I felt that I was different, that I was special. But not like this. Am I even human? I couldn't make sense of what Sephiroth was saying at that time. All I knew was that Shinra was producing monsters, and I still couldn't believe it. Oopsie. Y'all didn't see that. Yeah, kind of interesting that it's Cloud's question that kind of triggered the existential breakdown of Sephiroth, right? And, you know, again, like, I also said it when Sephiroth was all like, they've been, you know, they've got a lot more Mako than you did. It was obvious. Wait, you're a soldier, I'm a soldier. Why are you using you here? Why are you not saying we? Of course Cloud was gonna ask this question. But still, you know, it's kind of like, Cloud's all like, you realize you just said something weird. And Sephiroth's all like, huh, it is weird. Wait a second. Fuck. Damn Shinra. The more I hear, the more I hate him. Who would have thought that the Mako reactor held a secret like that? That would explain the increase in monsters over the years. When we returned to Nibelheim, Sephiroth didn't say a single word. He went straight to the inn and locked himself in his room. Then he up and disappeared, right? He'd gone to the biggest building in Nibelheim. The villagers used to call it the Shinra Mansion, but it had been abandoned by the time we were born. Sorry, I'm doing it again. I can't help myself, can I? But You know, I keep obsessing over just how old is Shinra, what is Shinra's history, when was it founded, all that jazz. This is really interesting. We know, they've not said in Ever Crisis, but we know from the other timelines that Nibelheim was the first Mako reactor. But Tifa does say, by the time we were born, Shinra Mansion was abandoned, which is, you know, so like 21 years ago at least, not only did Shinra exist, but they'd already built the mansion, or bought it at the very least. And then, you know, mixing that with what we got from Rufus, like my dad took a simple arms dealer company and turned it into, you know, the mega corporation ruling over the whole fucking world. I guess this dude was old, so 21 years is still not. You all know where I'm getting at, or do you? Sorry, maybe I'm not finishing my thoughts. I'm sorry. I'm getting at the, you know, there's got to be at least, we know there's at least 3 generations of President Shinras. And yeah, I was thinking, but my math was off. I was like, we know 21 years at least. They were already in Nibelheim, which probably means they were already into Mako. Which it's another big question. When did Shinra become this like Mako obsessed company? And again, Rufus seems to hint that it used to be just arms dealing, and also, you know, with the whole thing about Shinra was actually founded by a character from Final Fantasy X-2 sometime in the past. I don't see we've only met him as a kid in Final Fantasy X-2, but he doesn't seem like the kind of person who would found an arms company, especially like after achieving space travel and setting down on another planet. But anyway, sorry, I'll stop geeking the fuck out. So, anyway, let's put this one on the list of indications we have about Shinra's history. Is that 21 years ago, they were already in Nibelheim. It's something. It's something. Shinra used it way back when. I heard that's where Sephiroth was, so I went to get him. What is that? Do you guys remember that meme? It's something. So, I hate remembering old memes because it makes me feel so old. Like, I'm sure, you know, I'm sure you ask a bunch of teenagers if they know that meme and they're like, no. Did you even call that a meme? A life form in status was apparently found in a 2,000-year-old geological stratum. This figure of 2,000 years is also highly interesting. But I need to shut the fuck up and read the story. Professor Gast named this life form Genova. X year, X month, X day. Genova confirmed to be an ancient. What the fuck? X year, X month, X day. Genova project approved. Mako Reactor 1 selected as a test site. My mother's name is Genova. Genova Project? Is this just a coincidence? Professor Gast. Why didn't you tell me anything? Why did you have to die? Sephiroth. Leave me alone. Okay. Sephiroth didn't come out of the mansion. He continued to read as if he were possessed by something, and not once did the light in the basement go out. When I went to see Sephiroth a few days later, he was different. Who is it? Traitor. Traitor? You ignorant traitor. I'll tell you. This planet originally belonged to the Cetra, an itinerant race. They would travel, rest and build for a time, then move on. At the end of their hard, harsh journey, they would find the promised land and happiness everlasting. But those who rejected these ways emerged. They forsook travel, built settlements, and elected to lead an easier life. They took that which the Cetra and the planet had made without giving back anything in return. Now those are your ancestors. Sephiroth. Long ago, disaster struck the planet. Your ancestors escaped. They survived because they hid. It was the Cetra's sacrifice that saved the planet. They died, but your ancestors went on to thrive and multiply. Now, all that's left of the Cetra is in these reports. What does that have to do with you, man? Don't you see? An ancient named Genova was found in a 2,000-year-old geological stratum. The Genova Project, a project to produce people with the powers of the ancients, the Cetra. A project that resulted in my conception. Wait. You were created? Yes. By Professor Gast, leader of the Genova Project and genius scientist. How did he, hey, Sephiroth? I should go. Mother is waiting. Alright, that one line really... I'm sorry I keep obsessing over this. You'll know how I am when I have like a theory. I can't let it go. I can't let it go, can I? That one line, if I'm right, and there's something fishy about Sephiroth's parentage, like he has a dad somehow, even though clearly he was not created in, you know,
When mommy and daddy love each other very much.
Type way, but still, it sounds a lot more like Gast than Hojo, doesn't it? Hey, it's you! You're still sane, right? Zangan is, you know, Tifa's trainer. Then come over here and help me! I'll check this one. You check that one over there. Stop it! Left hand, friends. He's left-handed. I'm sorry, I don't know why that kept breaking up like that. I'm really sorry. Then again, you know, we've seen that scene. Well, we'll see it again in OG. But yeah, it's probably, you know, one of the most iconic scenes of Final Fantasy VII and the Final Fantasy franchise as a whole, and JRPGs and RPGs and video games and art and human fucking creation and probably anything that's been created in the universe. Most iconic scene. You heard it first, right here. This is Morgan Zane, and I'm not a fanboy. Sephiroth, what have you done? All right. So tiny little difference here, but see how I'm trying to like lighten the mood, even in Ever Crisis version with the chibi characters. This fucking moment gets me, and well, you know, we're obviously going over everything that happens in the other two games a lot faster in this one. And yeah, actually, I'd be very curious. I have yet to meet somebody who's played Ever Crisis without having ever played either of the other two versions of the game. I'd be very curious to have their, you know, feedback on the story. Does it? And I feel like, all right, no, I guess there's no way this can hit you as hard as it does when you play OG or remake for the first time. But you know what I'm saying, though, is it? It's obviously less impactful, but how much less? Like, do they still get, you know, do they still go as like, holy fucking shit, I did not see that coming, as we did when we played the other two versions first? I don't know. If you guys know of someone who's discovered the VII Story through Ever Crisis, and they're cool with it, please get me in touch with them. I'd love to have a chat. Sephiroth, why? Man, we don't have time for this shit. Yeah, so we have not. Yeah, we've officially overtaken where we're at in our OG playthrough together. But so we haven't yet seen the end of the canon flashback in OG version. But we can compare it with Rebirth, right? And it is very, very different. And specifically, Zangen, you know, actually, like, he has a role there, right? Like, he's the one. Not only did it seems like he survived the Nibelheim massacre, but he actually is the one, you know, who gets Cloud to snap out of it and try and be useful. That was not in Rebirth at all. Aerith Gainsborough. I wonder if Gainsborough is, you know, Elmira's last name or Aerith's last name. And I want to say my so I'm just making sure we're not skipping anything. My gut feeling, knee-jerk reaction, is that Gainsborough sounds a lot more like Elmira's last name than her biological mom. Who knows if Alna even had a last name, right? And if she did she even know it? I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? It's like Gainsborough sounds awfully human and not Citra enough to be Ifalna's last name, but fuck do I know. Dad. This is sword. Sephiroth? Did the Sephiroth do this to you? Sephiroth, a soldier, Mako reactors, the fucking Shinra. I hate them all. She picks up the sword. The cloud said, "Nobody can use that sword but Sephiroth. He's probably still alive." Mother, I've come for you. Please, open this door. You murdered my dad and you burned my village. Tifa! You promised you'd save me if I was ever in trouble. Thanks, Cloud. You're a great help, man. That changes everything. It's alright now. Wanna hit Burger King or something? Shake my damn head. This fucking man. Very different from Rebirth, right, y'all? Please keep all this in mind. If you can be here on Tuesday, because we're gonna do the same thing in OG, and I really want to compare the two, but that was a lot. And again, I'm sorry. I realize it's like the third time I've said this stream, but look at this. They've redone this entire. This is all new stuff, right? They could have reused the sets from the other two versions of the game, but no, they redid it, and so it's beautiful. I love it. It's such a perfect fucking halfway between OG style and look and feel and modern graphics. Man, I love this game so fucking much. Mother, together we will reclaim our world, and I know exactly how we can do that. The Promised Land. Sephiroth, my family, my home. How could you do this, man? Look, Mother, they've come again. With her superior power, knowledge, and magic, Mother was destined to become the ruler of this planet. But these worthless creatures, they stole it from you. But don't be sad anymore, Mom. Loading screens are kind of anticlimactic, aren't they? Gives us time to breathe a little. Look at this. Oh my god. Nice, we get a good look at her. Okay, this is really interesting. First, again, I'm sorry about. I don't know why the cutscenes get all And it's a shame because this one is really fucking great. And again, like, you know, it's an Ever Crisis exclusive cutscene. Like, they actually remade it with Ever Crisis graphics and stuff, and I think it's so very beautiful. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in Remake Rebirth, you know, like, Sephiroth steals Genova from the Shinra building, and then he's carrying this human-looking person in what very much looks like the same cloak that the Korean people are wearing. And, you know, we're clearly supposed to make the assumption that that person he's carrying is Genova, which would seem to imply that Genova is a humanoid, right? But I do not remember us seeing her this clearly. Like, in my mind, in Remake Rebirth, it was entirely unsure what Genova looked like. We never actually saw her like that, right? Again, I might be wrong. I do the whole thing with the like metal thing with Genova written kind of on her forehead does kind of ring a bell. Again, if I remember, I'll try and look at exactly how she was shown to us so far in Rebirth. But yeah, here it is blatantly obvious that not only is she humanoid, you know, it always, the whole like Genova confirmed as an ancient, one of the things that Sephiroth learns about in the basement of Shinra Mansion always trips me off, because I'm like, wait a second, like, Ifalna, Aerith's mom, was an ancient, and you know, she looked like a human being. Genova's this weird fucking thing that whatever the fuck, what even is, again, what does she look like? Have we even seen her? You know, there seems to be a lot of blood. Like, I don't think any human can lose that much blood. Like, you covered all of Shinra HQ with blood from her, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't clear to me that she looked like that. But maybe this is me reading too much into stuff. But when there was that close-up on her face, she actually looks sort of like Aerith and Ifalna, doesn't she? And, you know, like the shape of her face and stuff. I don't know. I find her... I'm gonna say something really fucked up. And out of how do you say? You're out of, you know... I'm gonna say something I'm not supposed to say. She's surprisingly attractive, isn't she? I don't know. She's supposed to be some kind of weird, creepy monster. You know, she's supposed to freak you out. She's the horror element, not the kinky element. But damn, Genova looking good. You're 2,000 years old, girl. Nice. What you doing tonight? Anyway, sorry. Jesus, focus on me. All right. What makes your loss more important? Sorry. What makes your loss more important than mine? Me loss. I've lost nothing. Left-handed. Unlike Inoji, I am the chosen one. I've been chosen to be the leader of this planet. It is my duty to reclaim the planet that you fools stole from the Citra. I stand to gain everything. Sephiroth, I trusted you. No, you're not the Sephiroth that I used to know. No, you're just Sephiroth that I used to know. You didn't have to burn the blame. You didn't have to guilty face that. Sorry about that. The other day on my YouTube suggestions, sometimes, you know, algorithms just make me very confused. I saw this, there was like this video, you know, like fucking all caps, and it was like, Gauthier says this song ruined his life. And I admit I was curious enough to kind of like, you know, just check it out for a minute. And it was about how he never wanted to have like a hit song and become super famous because of somebody that I used to know, and that he hated it, and if we could do it all over again. I did not watch the whole thing, just what I think this video was about was Gauthier saying, oh, like, I fucking hate this song, I hate that people know this song. Which does track with the rest of what I know from this guy. But anyway, neither here nor there.
Sephiroth, I used to know.
And that's the last thing I remember.
Wait a damn minute! That's it? No more?
What happened to Sephiroth? I'm not sure. But in a one-on-one fight, I couldn't have killed him. Official records state Sephiroth is dead. I read it in the newspaper. Shinra owns the newspapers. You can't believe everything you read. I thought you guys were radical. You're pretty fucking gullible, Tifa. I want to know the truth. I want to know what happened. I challenged Sephiroth and lived. Why didn't he kill me? Again, very, very different from Rebirth. I'm alive too. A lot of this doesn't make sense. What about Genova? It was in the Shinra building, right? Shinra shipped it from Nibelheim to Midgar. But someone must have taken it, right? It went missing from the Shinra building. Remember? There was like blood all over the fucking place, yeah? That does ring a bell, you guys. Sephiroth? Huh?
Putain! None of this makes sense, no matter how much I think about it. I've had enough. Gonna leave the thinking to all y'all. I'm heading downstairs, and you better not keep me waiting.
Yup, Frenchman needs a drink. I'll get you, Barret. Cloud, How bad was I after Sephiroth attacked me? I thought you were a goner. I mean, I was devastated. The Ancient, Citra, Genova, Sephiroth, and myself. Let's go. Barret is waiting. Red's been awful quiet, hasn't he? It's almost said nothing. Come on.
What a fascinating story.
Yeah, our boy was just listening. He must be like, Jesus fucking Christ, you human people. Crazy. Alright. I'm excited as fuck. This is so very different from what we got in Rebirth. Well, so very different. No, it's kind of the same. Look, this is Glenn. This is Matt. And this is Lucia. And you'll get to meet all of them real soon when we play First Soldier together, which is another storyline available in Ever Crisis. That's not the main VII story that we're doing right now. Never mind. And that's the last thing I remember. I'm sorry, y'all. We literally just went through this one. Yes. Sorry about that. Yeah, so there is a lot of, well, they actually sped it out, right? Like, Aerith is like, you realize a lot of this does not make sense. But I feel like they're a lot more obvious about, like, Cloud is all like, I've seen the dude fight, okay? If he wanted me dead,
If I wanted you killed, you'd already be dead.
you know what I'm saying? Like, Cloud is all like, I should not have survived this. And Tifa's like, yo, I'm also alive. I also attacked them. Weird as well. Cloud, everything isn't about you. And Cloud is all like, yeah, whatever. But, why am I alive? And Tifa's like, Jesus fucking Christ, Cloud, when you saw me, how alive was I? And it's like, not very alive, I must say. Anyway, you know what I'm saying is that this whole thing, this entire story is very weird, right? And we're supposed... It's not sloppy writing, it's supposed to be weird. It is weird in-world to the people hearing about it. We, the players, the watchers, are supposed to question it and be like, it is fucking weird. It is extremely weird. In Rebirth, they did this whole thing where, like, there's a lot less detail, actually, about what happened in the reactor, right? But, you know, afterwards, Tifa goes to Cloud and is all like, dude, like, what the fuck were you talking about? That's not how it went down. You left me for dead. Cloud's all like, you were dead. And Tifa's like, no, idiot. Does this look dead to you? I'm right here, motherfucker. Again, not exactly their words, but that was sort of the conversation. Like, you know, they seem to remember different things about what happened there in Rebirth. And here, you know, at least it's a little more consensual, I guess. There's not this... We definitely didn't get, you know, that scene where Tifa actively tells Cloud, like, what the fuck, man? Where have you been the last 5 years? What's your deal? Which she did in Rebirth. It hurt me a lot, because I don't like Tifa being sad because her best friend's sort of a douche. But there is some other weirdness to the story. There's something very, very, very wrong about the Nibelheim incident. And I don't mean the fact that Sephiroth went crazy and killed everybody and is now trying to take over the planet, which I guess would count as very, very, very wrong. You know, I'm talking about the way they... Again, you know, Cloud outright said it, right? He's all like, and that's the last I remember. I mean... Were you drunk? How do you not... You know, I can understand sort of like blocking out stuff, and of course this was extremely traumatic for you, bro, but how do you remember walking up to Sephiroth and then just like, yep, that's all I remember. Okay, where have you been the last 5 years? What did you do after this? What is your deal, Cloud? Sorry. Let's move on. Whoa. This place is huge. The planet feels so powerful. So... alive. Yeah. But he must sense the destruction to come. Huh? How can you know that? My sense of smell is better than that of you humans. Ha! So that's how it is, huh? Come on, don't fight. We're supposed to protect the planet together, remember? Sephiroth was spotted heading to the Mithril mines. Let's go. Cloud, how are those monsters? I told you this wasn't going to be easy. I mean, they're ostriches with hands. A little fucked up, maybe, but monsters? I don't know. Look at what we're gonna do to them. Ask yourself who's the real monster, Tifa. If this loading stream ever ends. There we go. They do have very, you know, human-like hand/claws things. I do agree they're kind of freaky, but... Is everyone okay? Yeah. I'm fine. Me too. You just need a moment. We are not inside the walls of Midgar anymore. No telling what we'll run into out here. Make sure your gear's in order. Let's keep moving. We don't get to do the You know, in OG there was this whole thing about, yeah, 5 people is way too conspicuous. Let's make 2 groups. And then I got to like tell the girls to fuck on off and get the boys club together. We didn't get to do that here. Alright, we just went through the faraway land, right? Okay, friends. Like often when we play Ever Crisis, I think this is our 3rd or 4th time doing it, so it's not like... Anyway, we've already overtaken where we're at with our OG playthrough. And things are gonna start diverging enough from Rebirth that... I don't know. You know, it's not the same story anymore, so it can't really be spoilers, but I'm just saying that if you've never played any of the 7 games and you think you might like to play them for yourself at some point in the future, and you're watching this, I'm just saying maybe now might be a good time to stop watching and start playing, if that makes any sense. I'm not saying... Will you please get out of here? I'm trying to play a video game! No! I'm super glad that y'all are here. Well, I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. It's just that, yeah. We're gonna start seeing stuff that is... Everything's a spoiler. We're playing a game together. But you know what I'm saying. You might prefer seeing this, for instance, the OG version. We've actually sort of seen the Rebirth version, but again, you'll see that it's so very different from what happened in Rebirth that it doesn't even make sense to compare the two. Anyway, yeah. Spoilers ahead. Like always. We're watching a story together, but even more so than usual, let's say. Whoa, hey. Stay back to me. I said go away.
Look who it is!
Cloud. She's in danger. That's good. It is Yaffy, my friends. Alright, and so Yaffy's voice acting will consist in her whispering. Don't. No, I'm not lazy. You're lazy. It's I already gave Sang, you know, like Chinese accent. I feel kind of bad about it. I was not going to try and do a Japanese accent. And I'm kind of out of accents that I know how to do. So here we go. She'll just whisper all the time, which makes sense because she's a ninja, right? She doesn't want to be heard. Phew, just in the time. Where did she go? Gotcha. What the fuck? Hey, you're my money. Alright, this, my friends, did not happen in Rebirth. The interesting thing, you know how when we play Rebirth, so, you know, if you were there when last we played Rebirth here on stream, we just got Yuffie on the team, and I plan on playing her a lot because I do like, if you want it back, you have to pray it from my cold dead hands. Hey, are you even listening to me? Whatever. I really like how she plays. I fucking love the Yuffie DLC, and you know, well, we've just done a few fights since I got her in Rebirth, but I really like playing as Yuffie. So she'll probably be on the team a whole lot in Rebirth, which is funny. And again, it really goes to show how it's not that I hate Yuffie, Oh, I don't. She's a fun character, but she's so far from my... Like, you know, what I'm saying is that my favorite characters are not the ones I play the most when I play Rebirth, because I play the characters that I feel I'm the best at playing, more than I do my favorite characters out of pure, you know, emotion and taste. And in the event that's no one going in Ever Crisis, Yuffie is actually really, or at the very least my Yuffie, but I think generally speaking it's a good idea to use her. Oh yeah, she's sort of, she's incredibly, you know, fit for the job that we want to do. And so far it's just part one of the events, so the super challenging stuff hasn't been released yet. But still, you know, I kind of like, I've been playing Yuffie more in Ever Crisis as well, and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna be stuck with her in every single version of the fucking game.
Oh, come on. It's not fair, there's so many of you and only one of me.
It is kind of true that you guys, there were 5 of you and you just beat up on the kid. You started this, I remember.
You spiky-haired jerk. How a rematch. Let's go.
You wanna go? Fine. Fine.
How about a game of tag? Maybe hide and seek. Stop making fun of me.
We're in a hurry. If you have something to say, can you please just say it?
I've been saying it. You just haven't been listening. Like I said, I wanna fight you again. If I win, you join my crew. And if you win, then I'll join your crew. I'm Yuffie. Good to meet you. So you really want to join us, huh? What? You wish.
Cloud, what do you say? Whatever.
Hey, wait a minute. Well, crap. That didn't go as planned, but I'm not giving up.
My dear friends, I realize we only have 45 minutes to go, but if you all don't mind, I'm going to take a really quick break. And we're back. Sorry about that. Alright, so, like I was saying, this is where it really diverges, right? Or, no. I guess you could say, wait, no, it's pretty much the same scene, just not in the same place. It happens earlier on, but there's this whole thing about Yuffie's all like, yo, let's fight! And then if you, as Cloud, choose to go like, yeah, sure, let's... No, we don't actually need to fight, you know. But yeah, it happens a lot earlier on. And there isn't this whole, you know, in Rebirth we had a lot more... We know that she admires Avalanche. There's this little thing with Barret, where Barret's all like, she's a fan, maybe we should humor the kid, right? And here, no, she just like shows up out of nowhere in the woods right as we leave Midgar. Interesting. And so I also kind of like how, you know, she's all like, yeah, oh shit, I'm sorry about that. I'm getting into real deal. Oh, nice, you don't. The game just crashed. It didn't crash, but I need to reload the whole thing. Say, good thing you're only seeing my face for now. You know, she's all like, she clearly wants to stick with us, and Aerith, I felt in that dialogue, was like, you know, well, what do we do? Maybe, you know, kind of, you know, she was all like, why not? And Cloud is like, whatever, and just starts walking away, and then they all like turn their back on her and start walking away and completely ignoring her, which is just so, I don't know, it's so fucking offensive. I get that Cloud would do that because he's a dick, but Aerith and Tifa, why would you? You're supposed to be those like super kind people and stuff, you know, like, again, Red, maybe, yeah, I could see him just turning his back on the kid. Barret, definitely, in this version, again, like, they have that little connection in Rebirth that I like a lot, but here, She's just a totally random kid who just like tried to steal Tifa's stuff. So I could see Barret being like, "Fuck this noise," and just walking away. So you know, the three guys, it makes sense. But how did either Tifa or Aerith just like, you know, act cool? Like, oh, you know, Cloud's being a dick, so I guess we're all gonna be a dick to you, kid who was literally just getting attacked by monsters. Like, what the fuck? Don't leave her there. What are you doing? And then, okay, I guess we did fight, so they realized, even though we beat her, again, 5 against 1. Good job, team. Yeah, they probably know that she's fine on her own out there. But still, I don't know. I found that scene brutal. Like, Cloud goes whatever, and they all go like, yeah, whatever, and fucking walk away. Spending too much time with dickhead number 1, friends. Don't let it, you know, do not become that. We've got enough of one broody, you know, recovering Mako addict person. Alright, the little ninja returns. So, when Ever Crisis was released, the story only went as far as where we got to last time, right? This was all added through updates, and they're adding story on a per chapter basis every, I want to say couple of months, but it might be even more frequent than that. Anyway, and so there's 3 stories that they're releasing at the same time. This one, so the main VII story. There is the Crisis Core story. It is the prequel with Zack, and again, this is the 3rd version of it that we're getting in Ever Crisis, because there's the initial game that was on PSP, and then there's the remake they made on PS4, and then there's the Ever Crisis version. And then there is, like, for instance, this Young Sephiroth is from First Soldier, the 3rd storyline. Also a prequel, and we will play that together on stream very soon. If I quit talking so goddamn much whenever we play Ever Crisis and actually manage to get us through the 7th story.
Quit it! I told you to go away!
Hey, isn't that,
Hello? Are you seriously gonna ignore me?
Well, if you want us to help you, maybe stop whispering, and also, why should we help you when you're just going to make us regret that, you robbed my friend? Those are the wrong characters.
I won't. I promise. I'm really sorry about that. Really? Please!
Cloud, what do you think? Fine, let's help her. One thing that's kind of interesting is that, you know, in many Final Fantasy games, there are jobs, much like in 11-14, right, the MMOs, and so, you know, you've got your warrior, you've got black mages, you've got white mages, and thief is one of the recurring jobs in Final Fantasy, and so is ninja. And so Yuffie, obviously, and in 7, it is not as clear-cut. You know, like, it's not like, oh, Cloud's the warrior, Barret's the ranger, Tifa's the monk, Aerith is like the white mage, I guess you'd say. God knows what red is. Yuffie's the ninja. So again, you can sort of definitely, you know, draw parallels, but it's a lot more open than in some other games where it's, you know, very, very clear that this person is supposed to be that job and stuff. And the whole materia system also means that you can make any character your healer. It's a better idea to use some of them than others, but, you know, there's no hard limit on, oh, Aerith has to be your healer. You can absolutely, you know, like in Remake, I used to always have Barret as my healer, and that worked great, right? Hey, look at my time.
Don't let your guard down. She's still around here somewhere.
Where the hell did she go?
Gotcha.
Hey, she stole my money again. And we're fighting her again. So yeah, again, like in Remake Rebirth, you know, she actively wants to join them because she has admiration for Avalanche. Not even just for Avalanche, but their Splinter group specifically, as we know from the DLC. Whereas here, it really is just like she was hanging out in the woods or something, and she saw those tourists walk past, and she was all like, I'm gonna steal their shit. And the,
One more time. Let's go one more time. What's the matter? Scared, are ya?
Whatever. And why are you whispering? Yes, jobs. The interesting thing is that she's also kind of the stand-in thief. And I feel like, well, no spoilers for OG, but in Remake Rebirth, it's a lot less clear, right? Like, there really is, you know, still is a materia that you get in remakes, so long before Yuffie joins the team. You know what I'm saying? I totally get where the whole, oh, she's a stand-in ninja comes from, but she's a stand-in thief. In Remake Rebirth, it's not clear at all to me. And here, they make this whole a lot more clear, I feel like. Which I do think is sort of a... You know, I wouldn't call it a reference, but I do think it's on purpose. It is for Final Fantasy nerds, so that they can be like, yeah, no, she's also the thief. You know, it's a little... What do you call it? It's not an Easter egg. You know what I'm saying? It's a weird meta reference, like... If you're a long-time FF nerd, you'll get it. Have you ever had those weird conversations about, is Yuffie just a ninja, or is she both the ninja and the thief in Seven's team? You know, you've ever had that conversation? There you go. She's also the thief. We said it. It's canon now.
That's twice. You've beaten me.
Are you okay? Just take a breath, eh?
Well, a promise is a promise. I guess I'll join your crew.
I don't remember making any promises.
Impressive, right? During the war, I took down a boatload of soldiers with just my bare hands.
Again, really interesting, because she was 12 at most during the war. And of course, you know, this sounds like she's just bragging and spouting nonsense, but yeah. Did she fight in the war? I'll bet.
Well, now that I'm one of you, you can count on me for...
Wait a minute, no one said you were one of us. Tifa's so PC because she got robbed twice.
Oh, is that really how you want to play it? Look, if you don't accept me now, I'll just follow you around forever. Is that what you want?
ZA, I don't know if you're thinking of what I'm thinking, but in my story, I think I accidentally made a Final Fantasy VII reference, and I did not realize it was, you know, the Yuffie thing. It's what Lexa tells Z. I don't know if you remember the moment I'm thinking of, but interesting. I hadn't realized until now. Alright, what do we do?
It might be wise to keep her where we can see her, so that Tifa stops getting all her shit stolen every 5 minutes.
Right, fine, you're in.
Yes! Hey guys, hang on. Wait for me!
And this is it. In Ever Crisis, that's how Yuffie joins the team. She's here with us now, and she's here to stay. And we shall see. So, next stream is on Tuesday, friends, and on Tuesday we will be playing Rebirth. Actually, so never mind. But next Sunday, we'll get back to OG, and we'll do, you know, a lot of what we're doing right now, but OG version. Where we're at in our OG playthrough is halfway through the Calm flashback, so the whole Nibelheim episode thing. So yeah, we'll see, you know, about Yuffie and stuff, but it's definitely different. Then again, you know, I always, like, clearly, Rebirth Remake is a lot more fleshed out, and they've added a lot of stuff in. Then there's OG, that, you know, the story does go faster, and we go through the same events a lot faster, and there's a lot missing because they added tons of new shit in both Remake and Rebirth. And then Ever Crisis is at the other end of the spectrum, right? Where it's extremely to the point. You know, everything is short and goes fast.
Hey, before we leave, can I go and see your friend one last time?
Fine. But make it quick.
Thanks, you're the best. They should be around here somewhere.
What's that?
I think they're in trouble. Hurry, this way.
I need a name for I've got a new chocobo in Ever Crisis. I don't remember his gender. But yeah, I don't know, when we last played it, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I was complaining about how they've added a new rank of chocobos, but it's random, and I swear to God, it took me so fucking long to get chocobos of the new best rank. I know I have 3 of them. I'm really glad. One of them is called Soulmate, which is not a Final Fantasy reference. It's one of those names I really wanted to give it at the time I got it. But yeah, I have a new one. So I guess I'm going to pick one of the names of chocobos we got from Remake Rebirth. I still have a lot to go, you know, to go through to make all of them one of my chocobos.
Oh no! Please, guys, we have to help the chocobo. They're my friend.
Don't worry, I won't let monsters breed something so adorable. Come on, the cloud. Let's go see you, chocobo. And again with the, alright, I promise I'll stop saying it after every single cutscene, but how very different from Rebirth is this, right? Like, there's no Bill, no Billy, the whole chocobo ranch thing is, like, not here. There is a connection to chocobos, but it's through Yuffie of all people? I know. Things are starting to diverge, my friends, which is good, I guess, because also, so, you know, we've been getting back on, this is how I pictured it when I decided to start streaming and all, is really, you know, I wanted to play the 3 games at the same time and try to kind of make it such that, you know, the stories would overlap, like we'd see the same thing back to back so that it would be fresh in our minds and stuff. And then that's not the way things went, because I wanted to finish Remake before Rebirth came out. And then for a while there, Rebirth had just been released and I really wanted to play it, so I sort of left Ever Crisis and OG on the side. And now we're getting back into the actual groove, and ironically, now that we're doing what I've always wanted to do, I kind of worry about you guys. Because I'm a total nerd, but I feel like maybe watching the same cutscene slightly different 3 times in a row, with just a few days in between, might be a little annoying for you guys. But, well, you know, there you go. It's starting to diverge a lot, so hopefully I'll make it more interesting.
I'm glad you're okay.
Make sure you stay away from monsters, okay? You're so cute. Ciao.
I know, right? See, I come with certain perks.
If you leave, will they be all alone?
Don't worry, there's a chocobo farm nearby. They won't be lonely at all. I have to go away for a while, but I promise I'll come back to see you. Take care until then, okay?
And I guess, okay, so at the end of the Yuffie TLC, kind of like the little epilogue closing scene, I don't know if you guys remember, was her on a chocobo, just kind of wandering, you know, she was still recovering from her grief over losing Son. And, you know, again, I feel like all these things are, you know, little winks, little nudge at each other version of the game, and I just love it. It does not come out of nowhere. That Chocobo scene, I think, maybe was cross-referencing that special connection that Yuffie seems to have with Chocobos in Ever Crisis, or vice versa. Because again, like, the timeline is fuzzy, because those chapters were released sometime, I wouldn't say before Rebirth, but you know, the story had been written for Rebirth long before that and stuff. And again, a lot of people are involved in both versions of the game, obviously, so it's not clear which one is referencing the other, is what I'm saying. Unless it's OG stuff, in which case they're all referencing OG, obviously. But again, we will see that next week, or whenever we reach that point. Having learned of Sephiroth's whereabouts, Cloud and the others cross the marshlands by Chocobo and arrive at the entrance to the Mithril Mines. You can see we've just skipped over a whole bunch of story there. And look at this. I love that. I love it so much. This is
a Midgar Solemn. What the hell?
amazing. Did Sephiroth do this? We're going up against someone capable of that?
I think it's best if we keep moving.
Right. Let's go. So remember how in Rebirth there was this whole very strange sequence where we fight the thing and Sephiroth's kind of there, but then he's not really and stuff. Here we just like arrive and the big bad monster. Well, nobody's won them against it, but you know, in both OG and Rebirth, we know that there's this like, you do not go through the marshlands on foot or you'll get killed by the Midgar Solemn or Midgar Stormer. And here in the Ever Crisis version, it's just like they show up and the thing is dead and like kind of on a spike and stuff. You know, it looked very ceremonial, right? You know what I'm saying? Because Sephiroth is not just freakishly strong and capable of killing like a gigantic monster that has been terrorizing the area for decades. He also like is kind of freaky. You know, like he's gonna make it a big display of like,
yeah, I created a giant fucking steak and I fucking pull him into it. What you gonna do?
My mother's name is Genova. Alright, new dungeon. I think it's just treasure chest. Let me just check. Yep. I love the music so much. You know that random mass question, like thought experiment, like, oh, you end up on a desert island and you can only bring, you know, one album, one book, and one whatever porn movie or something, you know, just like, it's essentially, what's your favorite album, but with a slightly different take on it. Like, it's sort of like you're gonna listen to the same thing forever. It's the only thing you can ever listen to. I honestly think I might seriously consider taking one of the Final Fantasy original soundtracks. I know, I'm a total fanboy. I am a stereotype of myself. I know, but you know what I'm saying though is that they're so deep and powerful, and they bring up so many memories for me. Like when I hear this fucking theme, you know, it's like I can feel my childhood and then my teenage years when I played for the game again with my cousin, and you know, it's also fucking. And of course, it's also tied to the story of the game, so it brings back memory from the game itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, they are such powerful song. I love them musically too, of course, but you know, if it were pure musical taste, I'd probably want something more, you know, less ambient, if that makes any sense. But yeah, no, I think it'd be a very serious contender. Or maybe something like an album of the Black Mages. It is the so Uematsu-san, the composer for all the older Final Fantasies, including 7, of course, who's recently retired. So 11 was, most songs were not composed by him, but by one of his what do you call it, mentee, like people he was the mentor of. He did compose a few, and you know, the new composer was very much working under his guidance. Stop right there. You. Do you know who I am? Well, yeah. I don't know what you want, but I know you're a Turk. You're right about that much, which should make the rest easier. It's difficult to explain what the Turks do. Kidnapping, for one. That's a harsh way to put it, but these days it's not so simple.
Elena!
I should have thought of a gimmick for her. I got nothing. I got nothing! It's alright, Rude. I know you don't like speeches, so don't force it. Then explain, Elena. I'm the newest member of the Turks, Elena. Thanks to what you did to Reno, we are now short-handed. But because of that, I got promoted to the Turks. Anyhow, our job is to find out where Sephiroth is headed, and to try and stop you every step of the fucking way. Wait a minute. It's the other way around. You're the ones that are getting in our way. Elena, that's enough. You ready? Shit. What were we talking about? Yes, music. Final Fantasy music. So Uematsu started, you know, being less personally involved as early as 11. But he's still around. It's hard to put it into words, so why don't we show you what we mean instead? And much like, you know, I talk about Sakaguchi-san a whole lot, the father of Final Fantasy, who's left Square Enix entirely, sort of been, you know, not fired, but he still has a huge impact on. Oh shit! They're actually vaguely. Yeah, I didn't go through the trouble of clicking the one button to change my character's gear and materia. Alright. We're alright. Well, yeah. It's gonna be just a wee bit longer than usual. I wouldn't call it a real fight, but you know. So yeah, much like Sakaguchi-san is still, there is not a single Final Fantasy that gets released without the people working on it asking Sakaguchi-san to try it and give them, you know, advice and stuff. And I don't know how things work exactly, but something tells me that when you do that, when you make Sakaguchi-san play some early version of your game, and he gives you feedback, you listen to it. You know what I'm saying? I might be wrong. I don't know. At least for CPU 3, in the case of Yoshipi, I very much think, you know, what Sakaguchi-san says goes, well, again, I might be wrong. In any case, I feel like it's sort of the same with Uematsu, where it's sort of like, you know, consulting probably on the music for the more modern. What the? Look at this shit. Oh my god, it's glitched. Huh. That's fun. And he does compose the occasional, you know, he usually does at least like one big song. For Rebirth, he did that weird. Sorry, I should not say that, but I find it a little weird. The song that's supposed to be sung by Aerith, in World or some shit. I don't know when it's gonna appear in the game, but it was at the Game Awards, and I found it extremely weird. Anyway, yeah. So Uematsu-san, who is the, he is to Final Fantasy music, what Sakaguchi-san is to Final Fantasy story and spirit and the whole thing. Started a band with other Square Enix employees, and it was like hard rock, leaning into metal, and they only did, except for one song, they did covers of Final Fantasy songs. Rude, Elena. Is that all you're capable of? Tang? Rude's right, Elena. There's no need to tell them everything. Sorry, Tang. I thought I gave you orders. Oh, right. Now go. Don't forget to file your report. Very well. Rude and I will go after Sephiroth, who's heading for Junon Harbor. Elena, what did I just say? I'm sorry. Go. Don't let Sephiroth get away. Yes, sir! Reno said he wants to see you after the injuries you gave him heal. He wants to show you how much he misses you all, with a brand new weapon. Well then, Aerith, long time no see. Now that Shinra's focus is on Sephiroth, it looks like you won't have to worry about us for a while. What are you saying? That I should be grateful to Sephiroth? No. I won't be around to keep an eye on you, so take good care. Strange hearing that from you. Goodbye, everyone. I pray you stay out of Shinra's way. Right. There's a lot there. That's super interesting. The first thing is, again, that saying Aerith dynamic is so different than what it is in Rebirth. Where, again, I feel like we're supposed to get the feeling that, they sort of know each other, like, that they have history, let's say, whether good or bad. Whereas here, there really is this, he sounded almost tender, right? Or is it just me? Do you guys agree with me? Where, like, there's this whole thing of, like, I won't be watching after you. And, she tries to act all like, that's surprising coming from you, but girl, we just saw the flashback. We know he's been looking after you. And again, it's all in a very fucked up way, and I'm not saying it's okay, I'm not saying he's the good guy here at all. It's really, really weird that Aerith has had to live that life of always being watched by weirdos and shit. But you know what I'm saying? There's this thing of, I don't know, and I love it. And again, about the writing is that it's subtle, right? What Aerith just said, you should read as the opposite of what she was saying. Just like, just like in real life, you often say stuff that is the exact opposite of what you mean. You I don't know. It's beautiful writing, I find. I really like it. And the second thing I really want to bring up before, and then we'll move on with the story ball, is the big difference, right? We're following the reason we are headed to Junon in this version is because Elena let it slip. And if you remember, in Rebirth, what happens is that we're following the reunion people, right? So that's totally different. And again, there are no whispers in this timeline, and there are no reunion people. Crazy, right? How crazy interesting is that? Let's we don't have much time left. Let's try and at least knock this chapter this chapter out before we call it a night. They said Sephiroth was headed to Junon Harbor, right? Wait, you're gonna trust the Turks? We don't have anything else to go on, because there are no reunion people to follow. He's right, we should check it out. I like how, you know, I feel like there's so many little details that they definitely pay attention to, and so we should. Like, for instance, whenever we see them moving as a group, all 6 of them, Yuffie's always kind of, you know, the last one in the back, and she's acting all, you know, she's often, like those kinds of stances and stuff. Like, you know, she's all like, yeah, whatever, you guys are doing your thing. Who the fuck is Sephiroth, anyway? Anyway, she's just following along, yeah, whatever. I'm with you guys now. I like it a lot. We got company. I've never seen a monsters like these before. Doesn't matter. We take down whatever's in our way. That is really interesting. First of all, because we got some exclusive dialogue. But you know, apart from Cloud, I could have taken any character in the gang. And I really wonder if we go with Aerith Red or Yuffie. What they say? And again, if I remember, I need to, when I stream, I need to just have like a little thing where I can note down the stuff I want to check offline, because I always forget. I already forgot what the first thing I wanted to check was. But yeah, it looks like they wrote a little, you know, special dialogue for each member of the team, which is lovely. I love it. What kind of town is Junon? It's a fortified city with an airport and harbor. It's also the location of Shinra's secondary headquarters. Security is tight, so it won't be easy to get in. We should gather information under Junon first. Under Junon, the town where the sun never shines. Reminds me of the slums. Let's go. And see, again, like, Yuffie's kind of, you know, staying away from the group and being all like, whatever. Look, it's Glenn! It's young Glenn. I'm so glad we got him through the random loading screens. What time is it, my friends? We got 9 minutes left. Right, let's maybe watch one more. Can we? Oh no, alright. Let's just go. I'll shut up. Focus on the story. Let's try and knock off the chapter before we call it. I never told you guys about the Ultimania thing. I started that anecdote and I never finished it. That's alright. We can talk about it on Tuesday. Actually, it makes more sense to talk about it when we're playing Rebirth than talk about it now. How's that for a teaser, huh? Look, that's Priscilla. Having arrived in Under Junon, Cloud and the others search for a way to infiltrate the city above. That reminds me. You again? Who are you? You'll find out soon. But more importantly, 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Nibelheim? When you went to Mount Nibel, Tifa was your guide, right? Yeah, that surprised me. But where was Tifa, other than that? I don't know. It was a great chance for you two to see each other again. You're right. So, why didn't you meet up? Just the two of you? I don't know. I can't remember clearly. Cloud. Why don't you try asking Tifa? Yeah. Cloud! What's wrong? You seem out of it. Tifa. I want to ask you something. Okay, what is it? When Sephiroth and I went to Nibelheim, where were you? We saw each other, remember? The times other than that. What is going on, yo? What are they talking about? It was 5 years ago, I don't remember. Hey, do you hear that? I think it's coming from above. What they heard was a rehearsal for the ceremony to welcome the new Shinra president, Rufus, to Junon. Sorry, yeah, I know you hate this song. It won't be on for as long as it was when we were doing this in Rebirth. It proved to be a good distraction, and they seized the opportunity to infiltrate Junon. Right, that was super interesting, y'all. So again, you know, kind of like in Rebirth, but at a different time, in a very different manner. We do have this thing where, you know, Cloud and Tifa both realize there's something fishy with their memories, like, something is way off. I feel like in Rebirth it was a lot more Tifa being all like, Cloud, I'm sorry, what the fuck are you on, right? Whereas here it's sort of the opposite, right? And so who the fuck was that? Somebody was talking inside Cloud's head and being all like, hey man, maybe talk to your friend about, you know, the whole thing, because it's weird. And then he does. Brilliant. And this, my friends, is the parade. Remember the parade? No minigames there, ZA. The group disguises themselves and sneaks into the city to find out what Rufus and Shinra are up to. Do you think Cloud managed to sneak in? Yeah, there he is, front row, far left. That's Cloud. I'm guessing that's Tifa and that's Aerith. Good work, man. It's all less grandiose than it was in Rebirth, isn't it? Why by sea?
Long-range airship is still being prepared. It should be ready in about 3 more days.
Enough of the stupid horse laugh.
Damn. Bird.
Things are different from when Father was in charge. Heidegger was really irritated. A man in a black cape's been seen around the city, but we can't find him. You guys, oh my god. This shit right there. Are they talking about Glenn? Wow. Okay, y'all, and I'm, you know, again, next Sunday we'll be playing OG. I don't know that we'll get this far, but help me out. Let's remember every fucking thing, right, and really compare the two, because this is weird as hell. Or, oh shit, the Sephiroth has a black cape? It could be just that. It could be just they're talking about Sephiroth and not Glenn. Well, we shall see. We shall see. We shall see. But why have the President help with the search? There's a rumor going around that it's... Why do I talk? There's a rumor going around that it's Sephiroth. What the fuck? You still haven't located Cloud and his friends.
We will. And when we do, we will crush them.
They'll reveal themselves if they hear rumors of Sephiroth being in town.
Leave it to me. I'll make sure they don't trouble us any longer.
What did I say about a laugh? Eh. These clones. I know, Tom. I'm, you know, trying to. Well, wait. Yes, about that specifically, but also I don't know if you've played Rebirth. Not by the voice acting. Thank you so much for saying that, Tom. I'm just fooling around. Honestly, I'm pretty shit. Well, thank you so much for saying it. I really do appreciate it. I do see the accents. I don't know if you've heard my Barret yet, but yeah. Attention, dismissed. That poor soldier. I heard Heidegger's got a lot on his plate, but nothing's going well. Good, fuck Heidegger. Like the search for Hojo, who quit the company and just disappeared. Are you deaf? I said you're dismissed! So yeah, Tom. Be awesome if there was a character in the third part you could get into. You mean like a Sephiroth clone that you could play? And if so, do you play Ever Crisis? Because Sephiroth, so it's not the Sephiroth from, you know, the main storyline. It's young Sephiroth from before, but you actually do get to play as Sephiroth. I don't know if you're a Sephiroth fan. I'm sorry, I'm maybe assuming a lot, but yeah, it's. I know a lot of Sephiroth fans are really happy about that. My Sephiroth shit is one of my least trained characters in Ever Crisis, but you can play him if you want to. All right, we're in the clear. Looks like Rufus is chasing Sephiroth too. Then should we follow him? Yeah, that's the only lead we have. Let's sneak onto his ship. We need to tell everyone else. Heidegger and Rufus. The man in the black cape and Sephiroth. You know, making a distinction here. And Hojo, who just up and disappeared. Let's go. There has to be something on the other side of the ocean. Famous last words. Did you just start playing the game? No. So I've been playing Ever Crisis since day one. I'm just doing the... what I'm doing with my channel is that I'm playing, you know, all three versions, like Rebirth and Ever Crisis and the OG FF7. And kind of just trying to really compare the stories and the different timelines and trying to work out, you know, how everything fits in together and all that shit. Which is why, you know, in my chat rules I have like no Rebirth spoilers because I've never actually finished Rebirth and I only play on stream. And so yeah, tonight, you know, you catch me at a little special time because we're playing Ever Crisis tonight. And we're not really playing Ever Crisis as in actually doing, you know, content or farming anything or stuff. I'm just going through the story. Again, to compare between the different timelines, if that makes any sense. I'm a total Final Fantasy nerd. Boy, I enjoy it a lot. We'll cross the ocean and head to the new continent. Even if we have to wear Shinra's uniforms. Alright, my friends. There's a bunch of missing stories, yeah. And yeah, so you know, you play Ever Crisis, Tom, so you probably know. But those little, we started the stream today playing, you know, those story quests they have with the little flashbacks centered on one of the characters and stuff. And I like these so fucking much. Like, they really give you background on the characters. They add really nicely to everything we get from the other Final Fantasy VII games, right? Anyway. I'm sorry, Tom, this is a wrap. I've been at it for 3 hours and a half, and I'm already a little bit over time. But thank you so much for stopping by and for chatting, Tom. You know, please hang around. I'm live every Sunday and Tuesdays, and I'd love to have you around. Have a great night, man. Thank you for stopping by. And everyone, yeah, this is a wrap. I'm sorry, we're already over time. If you'll allow me though, just a real quick about this whole thing about like the man in the cape, and like Tom was saying, yeah, no, clearly Sephiroth, or is it? And again with the, you know, kind of like meta thing where this was written concurrently with Rebirth, or probably I don't want to speculate about which one came first, but what I'm saying is that I'm pretty sure they knew that Glenn would make his appearance in Rebirth by the time they released this chapter. And so I do think that even if it's just in OG they meant Sephiroth specifically, and you're not supposed to speculate about who the man in the black cape is because it's Sephiroth, I do feel like here it is one of those things where, you know, it could absolutely be the devs telling us, you know, again, the story lists way to read this scene, but in a good sense for once. I'm usually all like, fuck all these explanations, I go for Westonian, even if it's fucking ridiculous. In this case, it's the opposite, right? I really do feel like you're supposed to either, you know, it was hinting at what was coming in Rebirth for Ever Crisis fans, or the other way around is that if you've played Rebirth and then see this scene, you're supposed to be like, wait, man in the black cape, Rufus freaking out about it, and Ray and Junon, they're talking about Glenn, oh my god! But again, I might be wrong, I might be reading too much into stuff, as I tend to do. It's really late, I wanna let you guys go. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you, ZA. I will see you long before that, hopefully. But yes, we will be back on Tuesday. We'll be playing Rebirth on Tuesday, and we're going to Corel, guys. So they don't have French accent in the Rebirth version, but kind of same thing. We're gonna get more backstory on the whole Barret and Merlin thing, which will complement very nicely with how we start this year's stream. I had a bunch of fun. I hope you all did too. I'm sorry about the overtime. I wish you all a very good night. This is Morgan Zaylan signing off. Be kind to each other, eat less animals, and play more Final Fantasy. I love you all. Good night.